Good morning, I'm Brian Feldman.
Six Flags dumps dining passes and customers are waiting for refunds.
Well, we never heard any more from them. So I called KMOX.
And we called Six Flags. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Today will be mostly cloudy and humid with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm, the high 83.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. What an unbelievable day of sports with the Cardinals, Battlehawks, and IndyCar all in action on a Sunday in St. Louis.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President Trump demanding that both Israel and Iran, quote, immediately stop shooting. That in a post after both traded attacks over the weekend that threatened the Middle East ceasefire. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burge is in Jerusalem.
We didn't have any sirens in Jerusalem. And what became clear as we got more and more reports of this is that the Iranian attack was very much concentrated in northern Israel. According to an Israeli security official to us, there were at least 11 Iranian ballistic missiles fired at northern Israel. Israel is saying that they intercepted all 11. There's no reports at this stage in time that anyone was injured or killed in these attacks.
Security tight around Madison Square Garden in New York with President Trump expected at the NBA Finals tonight. This also comes after a stabbing attack in Penn Station below the arena left 5 people hurt. 3 Americans, including a former member of the U.S. Navy, accused of conspiring to support ISIS. This is ABC News. Philadelphia police are looking for nearly $500,000 worth of bourbon that was stolen from a warehouse. Shipment belonged to A21 Wine and Spirits, whose COO Rob Koch says the thieves stepped in and conned their way into taking the bourbon.
They showed up at American Supply's warehouse. They said, hey, we're here for a pickup for A21. And it's 18 pallets of stuff. They didn't really know what it was.
He said the warehouse failed at some basic security measures. Schmigadoon won Best Musical at the Tony Awards last night. John Lithgow won the Tony for Best Actor in a Leading Role of a Play for his portrayal of children's author Roald Dahl in Giant. Schools closed today in a Japanese city of 500,000 people north of Tokyo because of a bear sighting. Bear sightings have become an increasing problem in Japan. Last week, 4 people were hurt by a bear in Fukushima, and authorities were not able to capture that bear. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
At 6:02, we have cloudy skies and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, June the 8th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The U.S. Olympic Marathon Trial is coming to St. Louis March 2028 with the public running the Greater St. Louis Marathon the next day. Does this mean the route is set? Not exactly, says Mona Vespo with Go St. Louis, who organizes the annual marathon. She says while some key parts of the path are known, nothing is finalized.
What we know is that the route we proposed, that we put together as a team collectively, will probably be tweaked a bit over the next 2 years between USA Track and Field, between a lot of the media, who is a big part of like, this will work for TV and this won't.
She says what is set is the race beginning at the Olympic Rings on the campus of Washington University through Forest Park, looping through downtown before ending at Energizer Park.
A heads up for season pass holders at Six Flags St. Louis. If you paid for a dining plan, you may be owed a refund. KMOX's Michael Calhoun reports.
Enchanted Parks is the new operator of the St. Louis Park, and unlike the Six Flags company, Enchanted doesn't do dining plans, so they said customers who'd bought one before the park was sold could request a refund. Listener Ron Lynch purchased 3 dining plans last year and tells KMOX he's far from the only one affected.
I'm sure there's a lot of people the same way, and the dining pass, if I remember right, was more expensive than the gate pass. So, a lot of people are going to be out a lot of money if they don't get something out of it.
The new owners are honoring admission passes, but not the dining plans, and those refunds run through Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. Lynch says he called the number given.
Well, we never heard any more from them. So I called KMOX.
A Six Flags spokesperson tells KMOX it is working with Enchanted Parks to process all eligible refunds. Quote, we remain fully committed to delivering on Enchanted Parks' promise to their guests and resolving this as quickly as possible, end quote. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Seniors now make up 18% of Missouri's population. That is equal to about 1.1 million people. State Senior Programs Chief Mendy Ilstad says the number is expanding quickly. She says seniors are expected to outnumber children in the state by 2030.
Looking at rural healthcare deserts, we know that rural counties will be hit the hardest by this population change, and we don't know how that's going to affect the number of older adults living in those areas or if they'll move closer to the more populous areas.
She says the increase will also impact the number of healthcare workers needed, which is already a problem nationwide.
St. Louis Public Schools has shut down its central headquarters after an employee contracted Legionnaire's disease. The Post-Dispatch reports workers are staying home after preliminary tests found the bacteria in the water and cooling systems. A school spokesperson says the water is turned off to the building. Officials initially said the testing was for storm mold before revealing the severe case of pneumonia.
St. Louis City Comptroller Donna Behringer weighs in on the police department's 11th hour budget adjustments.
Comptroller Behringer understands the police department's concerns about the issue they face with command staff salaries not being enticing enough to encourage officers to seek promotions. However, there are still problems.
Whether I agree with it or not, it's still salary compression. And I know that was their effort, but they don't show us where to find the money.
Behringer says she doesn't appreciate surprises like the last-minute command staff raises the state-appointed police board is proposing. If approved, the fire department would also receive a similar raise, which would have put the city illegally over the budget. The police board will take the raises back up next week. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker pausing the release of any new data center tax incentives, and he's calling on the General Assembly to take up the issue in their veto session.
Working families shouldn't get stuck paying the bill when data centers aren't stepping up. That means paying for their water, electricity, and other resources they use.
Pritzker also says, most importantly, Illinoisans need to know when data centers are being developed in their neighborhoods.
The Illinois General Assembly passed nearly 400 bills in this last session. Sister station of ours, WBBM. Jan Coleman with the story.
Among the bills passed by the Illinois House and Senate is one that would limit where the federal government can build detention centers, another to regulate plastic pellets, and a third that would increase the amount of money that's paid to people wrongfully imprisoned. House Bill 3663 brings the state in line with federally recommended minimum standards set in 2004. The previous system set specific payout amounts with a maximum payout of just under $200,000 if an individual was wrongly imprisoned for at least 14 years. The new payout would be up to $50,000 for each year wrongfully spent in prison and $25,000 for each year wrongfully on parole.
As the Nazi movement took root in Europe, the ideology was being spread in St. Louis. A new exhibition coming to the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum explores the spread of extremist and hate in the 1930s. Director of Archives and Collections, Amy Mormon, tells KMOX the Nazis used the German consulate here and others to spread propaganda.
They actually were sending people over here, specifically students we found at the University of Missouri. There were exchange students who came over and were here specifically to kind of spread the message about how great things were in Germany.
The exhibition's called Nazis Next Door. St. Louis faces Nazism in the 1930s. It opens Friday.
We'll check traffic and weather next at 6:07.
Cards fans ready to dress for the occasion? Well, Friday, June 26th, as the Cardinals take on the Miami Marlins, you'll get a brand new all-over Prince shirt. But that's just the start. You'll also get the matching shorts, too. It's not just a shirt, but a full summer set that brings a tropical twist to game night and makes waves in the stands. Available in medium and XL while supplies last. More details and tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10 on Total Information AM. Let's check the roadways. Roger Brandon, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Brian, they're making headway with our crash downtown westbound 70th branch. It looks like just the left lane's sneaking by now. They just had another flatbed pull into the scene, but they haven't got the highway reopened, so that's good news. Traffic is getting through. And since it is reopened, the jam hasn't gotten any worse. It's still jammed back through to the Musel Veterans Bridge on westbound Highway 70. So no worse now that traffic is getting through. And they like I said, getting close to clearing it because they do have flatbeds on the scene. One of them just departed the scene, and they did have two lanes open now. It just looks like the left lane, but it's still better than when it was completely shut down. They're reporting a crash northbound 55 near Highway M. They're sending emergency crews, or at least they have a crash detection reported there. I don't see any delays on 55 coming through that area, and it looks good north of there. 141 up to the Merrimack, that's where you usually start to see slowdowns in the work zone. And we don't have any slowdowns in work zones anywhere. I mean, 270 both ways at Ladue, 70 coming in from Warrenton to Wentzville. Both directions of traffic look good there. 64 over in Fairview Heights and 5570 between 255 and 203 all are on the go so far. Next update at 6:20 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
A flood watch is in effect through 1 o'clock tonight. It'll be mostly cloudy and humid today. A couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm or two that can lead to flooding on streets and poor drainage areas. The high 83. Cloudy, warm, and sticky tonight. A leftover thunderstorm or two, especially early, those 74. Tomorrow, morning cloud and a stray thunderstorm. Then partly sunny, hot and very humid in the afternoon. The high tomorrow 93, but AccuWeather real field temperature could get close to 100. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it's 73 in Florissant, 73 in St. Peters, cloudy sky, 74 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:12. A 7.8 magnitude earthquake has rocked the southern Philippines, killing at least 19 and injuring more than 200. Officials say a 3-foot tsunami hit nearby coasts and damaged homes. The city of General Santos hard hit, with buildings collapsing and a key bridge damaged.
Police in Toledo, Ohio are searching for the gunman behind a weekend shooting near a crowded street festival. The gunfire wounded 12 people. Police say all the victims are in stable condition. The shooting happened near the Old West End Festival, and social media videos show crowds running for cover while medics treated the injured in a park. Investigators have not made any arrests.
Another weekend mass shooting has left 9 people injured in Kansas City. Police say the gunfire erupted early Saturday morning at a large gathering roughly 10 miles south of downtown. None of the injuries life-threatening, but investigators have not made any arrests.
Apple is expecting to unveil new artificial intelligence features at its annual developers conference today. It will be the last conference for Chief Executive Tim Cook before he hands his post over to John Turnus in September. Analysts expect the tech giant to show off updates for its Siri voice assistant as Apple plays catch-up with its tech peers.
The Broadway musical Schmigadoon and the new play Liberation are the big winners at the 79th Tony Awards last night. The wins cap a record-breaking season on Broadway, with ticket sales reaching $1.9 billion, an increase of 3.5% from last year. The live entertainment industry remains strong, even as consumers cut back on other types of spending. Giant Live Nation says concert ticket sales projected to rise 11% this year. A Tony win often bumps ticket prices up 17% the next month and can extend a show's run by months.
The boil water order continues following a 30-inch water main break near Old Bonham and North McKnight Saturday. Missouri American Water reports the main repairs were completed yesterday morning and water samples were being collected. All of Olivet, a good portion of Overland, south of Midland, and part of University City west of Hanley Road, their northern parts of Clayton and Ladue, also affected by the boil order.
Still ahead at 6:22.
I'm Maria Kina, talking with a lady making a difference in her South County community, one meal at a time.
A lot going on in the city yesterday, that's for sure. Let's start with the St. Louis Cardinals, who put it on the Cincinnati Reds on Friday, snuck by them on Saturday, and yesterday needed this key play to overtake the Reds.
Here plays way in on the grass, and here's a bunt on the third base side. Fielded by the pitcher. The throw to third goes down the left field line. Ball throws it away. Fermin scores the go-ahead run. Over to third, Velasquez. Down to second, Victor Scott the second. And the Cardinals have taken a 4-3 lead on a throwing error.
That created an avalanche of trouble for the Reds.
The pitch to Herrera, a swing, and a ground ball to the shortstop. It goes off the glove of McLean. Everybody's safe. A second error allows a second run to score in the 8th inning. And the Cardinals lead 5-3.
McLean hit 2 home runs in the game for the Reds, but he was up in the 9th facing Riley O'Brien.
The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 out. McLean strikes out to lead off the 9th.
Working around a double, O'Brien trying to nail down his 17th save.
Crowd today at 31,335 as the Cardinals are going for the sweep right here, right now. The pitch is swung on, fly ball center field, and there it is. Scott comes on. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner. Set off the fireworks, and it is a 3-game sweep over Cincinnati, with the Cardinals coming back to beat the Reds today 5-3.
Cardinals in second place in the Central all by themselves, 5 games out, trailing the Brewers. Here's Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol.
I'm very happy because we continue to do a nice job of just staying focused, and that's a big part of this. You can easily get distracted and start to think about what just happened, or start thinking too far ahead of what it's going to take to come back, but the guys just continue to stay focused on what's right in front of them, and done a nice job of coming back often, and that's another example of it.
So much this year, we have spent time, and I think you pushed back the other day saying every team's going to face runners in scoring position questions for 2 weeks, right? And then the bottom of the lineup has had its struggles producing. But yet in those moments in the late innings, it's almost like they rely on just simplifying things and they come through. Is there something to that kind of messes with what you're talking about, just kind of knowing the task at that moment?
Yeah, we talked about this several days back as far as like we're better when we're controlling the strike zone and walking more, and not because we're trying to walk, but because we're just stubborn about getting pitches where we want them. And we did a really nice job today. Again, I think we had 7 or 8 walks, and just continue to add pressure that way. So there's times where, yeah, you need a hit, but man, controlling the strike zone and just creating a ton of opportunities. We did that. We didn't cash the majority of them in today, but we cashed in enough, and our bullpen did a nice job of giving us a chance there. But yeah, that's something we're going to continue to kind of dial in and get better at.
Really good day for the Cardinals and Ollie Marmol. By the way, Marmol's been selected for the National League All-Star staff supporting Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, and Don Mattingly is on that staff as well in Philadelphia, as the Cardinals hope to have Jordan Walker on that team, among others. The Cardinals are in New York. They take on the Mets on Tuesday after the day off today. And also happening in New York, the Knicks and the Spurs, Game 3 of the NBA Finals, as the Knicks lead that series 2-0. Basketball in St. Louis, it's all about the Billikens these days. And Josh Schertz, the Grand Marshal of the Bommarito Automotive Group 500, telling KMOV the latest on the SLU Mizzou possibility.
It's great for both programs. It's great for the city of St. Louis, the basketball fans, great for the state of Missouri, right? It's got a great history and tradition for both programs. It's the perfect time to rekindle the rivalry, right?
He is trying to finalize that. Josh Schertz also watched this. Joseph Newgarden outstanding again at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Back on familiar ground, Joseph Newgarden has proved the warrior that he is to bring home his 6th win in St. Louis.
6 wins in 11 tries. He wins the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 in a rain-delayed finish. Hours earlier, the Battlehawks season came to an end. They lost to Louisville at the Dome in the playoffs, 2920. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And right now is a good time to be a new FanDuel customer. I mean, it's a good time to be an old school one like me, but it's an even better time to be a new customer right now because new FanDuel customers can hit the court with $350 in bonus bets guaranteed after betting $5 for 7 days straight. So FanDuel is the best place to bet all your favorite players during the NBA Finals. You get to play your game any way you want. And best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. So head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get $350 in bonus bets guaranteed after betting $5 for 7 days. And of course, FanDuel is an official partner of the NBA. Remember, you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. Minimum $5 wager required for 7 consecutive days. $5 first deposit required as well. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Skin Cancer Awareness this summertime, and we're joined by Dr. Aubriana McAvoy, a WashU medicine surgeon at Siteman Cancer Center.
So one of the biggest warning signs is a spot that's changing. So that could be changing in size, shape, color, or certainly if something has symptoms like itching or bleeding. We call it the ugly duckling sign, which is a mole that looks different from all the other ones on your body. I let patients know they should pay attention to sores that don't heal, scaly spots, or growths that bleed easily. If something is new or changing or just doesn't seem right, it's worth getting checked out. A lot of spots turn out to be benign when you're in at the dermatologist, but skin cancer is much easier to treat when it's caught early.
For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At 6:21, how is our issue downtown looking, Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center?
Well, good news there, Brian. This traffic report's a service of Choruses of Harmony, STL. They just reopened all lanes just literally like 20 seconds ago, westbound 70 at Branch. So all lanes are open now. There's still a short jam back to the Musial Veterans Bridge, but it'll thin out in 5 minutes. You should be back on the go there. Now, the problem now is going to be northbound 55 at Highway M. I mentioned earlier I couldn't see any issues or delays. That's just sort of up the hill out of my vantage point, but a pickup truck did hit the median wall north 55 just immediately north of M. They said it's not drivable, so they can't move it to the shoulder, so left lane shut down, and there's a short jam northbound 55 as you approach Highway M right now. So that one will probably grow, but like I said, westbound 70 downtown, all lanes are open. That should be thinning out pretty quickly, and those are the only issues we have out there for you so far this morning. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Harmony STL presents Now Playing, featuring the ambassadors of Harmony, Visions of Harmony, the Recruits, and Fleet Street performing the hits that shape generations. Saturday, June 13th, 2 p.m., Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets at harmonystl.com.
Flood watch until 1 a.m., mostly cloudy and humid. Couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm today, high 83. Low 74 tonight with humid conditions. Tomorrow, hot after a morning thunderstorm. Real feels near 100. Currently, it's 74 downtown.
The news continues at 6:23.
I have been cooking probably every 3 to 5 days a week and sharing ever since last October.
That's Linda from Afton, the lady that feeds people. If you're in need, hungry, and in her Facebook community, she would like to hear from you.
And since October, Linda, also known as Nona, many people have reached out to her. While she and her husband are not wealthy with money, they have the wealth of something else: generosity, caring, wanting to make a difference in their community.
Some people, maybe, I've heard from once, they got what they needed, and that was it. Other people I hear from much more regularly. And that's okay too. I've got some that they message me.
Yeah.
They say, Linda, are you cooking today? And I'll go, yes, and this is what's on the menu. Or, no, I'm not because of this and this, but tell you what, I'll keep you in mind. and I'll reach out to you first the next time I'm at the stove. This morning, a lady that's part of the group, there's something's in the air right now. There's a lot of people who are hurting really, really bad right now. A lady who I had contact with numerous different times. I saw that she had posted just a really heartbreaking post. I need help. I need help. I got a hold of her and I said, hey, you need help? I just happen to have chicken salad in the refrigerator and some dumpling soup. If I can bring that over to you, and if that would help.
Yeah.
If that would help.
Yeah.
She goes, yes. I said, I can't fix it. I cannot fix anything. All I can do is let you know that I'm here, that I'm aware of your problem, that I'm supportive of you, and let's see where else things can go.
If you're wondering, Linda was cooking while we talked. So why cooking? Linda says, because food is love.
In discovering me and my addiction to giving people food, if you followed the site very much, I've gotten into a new avenue, which is only possible because of the trust that was built up within this community, because I help feed people. Did you see the thing about Nona's Kitchen?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Nona's Kitchen is going to happen starting this next Monday. I will have kids here in this house. I will also have my granddaughter. I'm selfish too. My granddaughter was coming into town, was going to be spending the whole summer with me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's 8. And there's only so many ways that a grandma and a grandpa, an 8-year-old, and keep her happy.
Yeah.
So she lives in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So what do? You find a way to invite kids in, all about her age. Funny thing, huh? So that's what it is. It's Ruby, my granddaughter, plus 5 other kids, 3 Mondays in June, 3 Wednesdays in July. I put it out and said, hey, to the community, I've got this crazy idea. Would you all be interested if I put together a kids activity again, for a single day a week for 2 different sessions, and ran it over the course of June and July? And the community said, yes. The community doesn't know me by face. They don't know me.
Yeah.
But they do. And it's just, it almost makes me want to cry, because it is just so warm and so upstanding of everything. So I had some people saying, yes, my child would be interested. Yes, my child would be interested. Others going, I don't have a child that's interested, but what can I do to help? The whole community has been, what can I do to help? If you look over on the table, you'll see aprons. Nona's Kitchen kids donated and cry cut, member of the community, for us. There is a lady named Zara Mahdi, who is a Muslim lady, who's Iraqi. And I said, Zara, what can we do together? I've got a tea party in mind. And she says, oh, an Iraqi tea party at your house for kids? I said, oh, yes, ma'am. So that's what's going to happen on the final day of our session in July.
But I have a feeling that will not be the last session for anything Linda does. It's just the beginning. And it all started with one meal at a time. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It's 6:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Missouri Athletic Club, with all their great people, great service. That's the thing I wanted to highlight this time around, is the employees of the Missouri Athletic Club. They are excellent. They care. They are a family. They are our family. The Missouri Athletic Club, downtown in Clayton, and in Town and Country. They are employing people all throughout the St. Louis area, and they are a big part. They are the engine, really, that makes the Missouri Athletic Club go. The catering downtown, I'm telling you, if you want to throw an event, you don't have to be a member of the Missouri Athletic Club to book an event at the MAC. Downtown has some outstanding space for events, and so does the MAC West, and Clayton, I'm certain, is going to be doing the same. But for right now, if I had to pick a place to throw a big party like a wedding or a business event, I'd pick the Missouri Athletic Club downtown. I mean, that's where we have all the big awards for sports in downtown St. Louis. mac-stl.org.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
At 6:31, we have cloudy skies and 75 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, June the 8th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, everything's thinned out downtown, so westbound 70 drivers no longer an issue. You're in great shape coming off the Musial Veterans Bridge, headed west, wherever you need to get to from there. The only trouble spot we have currently is this crash. Northbound 55 is north of Highway M. They have the left lane shut down. It's a pickup truck into the median wall. It's not drivable, so they're waiting for a tow truck. There's just a short jam. It's not even midway back to Highway Z yet, but it is bumper to bumper there, approaching M on northbound 55. Now, the good news is once you get past that, we're still okay coming through 141 up to the Merrimack and, of course, points north of there. North 270 still looks great from 55 up to Gravois, up around Ladue in the construction zone. Both directions still on the go. You look good out west. Southbound 61 getting onto eastbound 64 or eastbound 70 coming out of Wentzville. No delays. In town to town, we're still okay on 55, 70, and 64 in the construction zones there as well. Next update is 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We are in a flood watch through 1 a.m. tomorrow. Today, there is going to be quite a few showers and thunderstorms, so get ready for that. Watch for flooding on the streets and in poor drainage areas. That's according to meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Says a high of 83 degrees. Tonight, cloudy, warm, humid, another thunderstorm or two, especially early. Low of 74. Right now, partly cloudy skies, 75 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 6:32. What landmarks will the 2028 Olympic hopeful marathoners see as they run through the city?
1904 Olympic Marathon began, Washington University. From there, they will pass through Forest Park and make their way to downtown, which they will see plenty of as they go through a Criterion Loop. Go St. Louis President Mona Vespa is helping to plan the marathon route and explains what a Criterion Loop is.
Several times around the same thing is all a Criterion Loop is. It's a fancy word to say that. Things that are easy about it are it's great for TV. So it's great for TV and their production. It's also really good for spectators. So all of these people downtown watching this event, which we know is going to be tens of thousands, they can now see runners multiple times as they go through.
The finish line will be at Energizer Park, where spectators can fill a stadium to watch who will represent the United States in Los Angeles. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
I'm Michael Calhoun. Organizers are certain this race will go better than the city's first try more than a century ago. The 1904 Olympic Marathon was run in brutal late August heat on dusty, unpaved roads. It's remembered as a near disaster. Historian Adam Kloppe of the Missouri History Museum says part of the problem was by design.
The guy who organized the event, he figured he was something of a scientist and he wanted to test dehydration on the human body, so he didn't set up enough water stations. So there's athletes that are like passing out because they're so exhausted from the St. Louis heat and running in the hills that are out there in St. Louis County.
The course wasn't even closed to traffic, so runners had to dodge cars and horses kicking up dust. Bud Kloppe also notes the 1904 Olympics, the first to award gold, silver, and bronze medals.
You may know about some of the great local ice cream shops in the St. Louis region, but did you know there's an ice cream school in our region? KMOX's Megan Lynch visited Scoop School.
How long does it take to make a batch of ice cream?
On a commercial machine, about 8 to 10 minutes. It doesn't take very long at all.
That's a $30,000 machine. Steve Christensen is executive director of the North American Ice Cream Association, headquartered in Wildwood, Missouri. The organization boasts roughly 2,000 members, all passionate about their investment in cold treats. You can learn more this morning at 8:11 here on KMOX.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money minute next.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who is likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
At 6:36, time now for your Money Report. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Wall Street is trying to find its footing after Friday's tech-led sell-off. The S&P 500 dropped 2.6%, and the Dow tumbled 695 points. Worries are growing that the rally in artificial intelligence has run too far. Plus, the U.S. added 172,000 jobs in May. That is reinforcing expectations that the Federal Reserve could raise interest rates by December. This morning, S&P futures are up 18 points. However, Dow futures are down 125. And this is as NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang called the sell-off in tech stocks a buying opportunity, saying the build-out of artificial intelligence has just begun. He argues AI will transform the way people work and live. And Delta says travelers continue to pay up for a premium experience. Delta estimates that it's been able to recover some of its jet fuel expenses by adding about 10 to 15% to ticket prices. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Well, it's going to be a great summer of soccer. There is no doubt about that, with the FIFA World Cup going on. And you know who's right in the middle of it, enjoying the opportunity to give you watch parties? That would be Anheuser-Busch. What's better than watching Team USA than watching it with an ice-cold beer in your hand? There's no better place to do both of those things than at the beer garden at Anheuser-Busch. We just had a party there, you may recall, a capacity crowd to see Ozzie Smith, Matt Adams, and Al Raboski. They have a huge video screen right up on that stage. Every seat in the house is great. The beer is cold. You can take a brewery tour, listen to some live music, then settle in for all the action. $15 Mick Ultra pitchers, $20 Ultra buckets, $5 Ultra drafts, and collectible FIFA cups while supplies last. Visit BudweiserTours.com. That's BudweiserTours.com and experience USA soccer at the beer garden.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand, so shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce.
It's spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
In the Palm Beaches, we are truly in a league of our own, with an unbeatable collection of year-round sports on display. Take a swing at tennis or pickleball, or get a front row seat to polo, baseball, and everything in between. Then, find out why we're called Florida's golf capital, with more than 145 beautifully manicured sun-soaked courses, perfect for pros and beginners. When it comes to sports destinations, there's no competition. Curate your vacation at thepalmbeaches.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
At 6:40, let's check the roadways with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have our delays on 55 down south right now, Brian. This traffic reports a service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Northbound 55 at Highway M, we have a crash. Left lane's blocked. Traffic is just more of a slowdown now, and it's not even quite midway back to Highway Z, so it really hasn't gotten any worse. It looks a little better to me, actually, coming through that area right now. Also starting to see a little bit of a slowdown. Northbound 270 from about the Clayton Road overpass up through 64 into the work zone at Ladue. Still look good out west. Southbound 61, eastbound 64 and 70 from the Wentzville area. Good runs across the Missouri River bridges there. Downtown, we're still okay. They're supposed to be doing some road work starting this hour westbound on the collector distributor lanes between 3rd Street and the Poplar Street Bridge, but I'm not seeing any delays through there right now. And 5570 between 255 and 203 still looks okay. And 64 around 159 in Fairview Heights, I still don't see any delays. All those active work zones on the Illinois side. Next update is 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family-operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. We got the race in last night. We were dodging raindrops, but IndyCar was a success. We'll have it for everybody here at 6:45. But as for rain, we got a little bit more to deal with today.
Indeed, we do. In fact, I'm watching the radar right now. There's a good area of thunderstorms that extends from about Owensville up toward the Warrenton area, and there could be some hard downpours with that. So keep that in mind. Basically, east of there's a little more than a couple of sprinkles, but this is a volatile air mass. The humidity is very high, and it could fuel thunderstorms with downpours at the drop of a hat. So that's our lot today. That's why we've got a flood watch through 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. Our high gets to the about 83-degree mark. Warm but humid tonight. There can be a thunderstorm or two, especially early, with a low dropping to 74. Tomorrow, it improves as the clouds give way to some sunshine, but it's also going to become very steamy. Our high 93 and the AccuWeather real field temperatures are going to get up close to 100. That's how miserable it's going to feel tomorrow afternoon, and there could still be a thunderstorm in places early. Mostly sunny, breezy, very hot and humid on Wednesday, the high 95. Another hot, humid day Thursday with sunshine and some clouds, high 94. Now, later Thursday and Thursday night, a cold front will move into and through the area, and with it, thunderstorms that could be severe. Behind them, some sunshine, cooler, less humid for Friday, the high in the mid-80s. 74 at St. Peter's, 74 in Florissant, 76 cloudy downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The news continues at 6:43. Israel and Iran trading fire in their first attack since a U.S. ceasefire 2 months ago. The strikes threaten to drag the Middle East back into a full-scale war, despite President Trump's plea to hold Israel back. ABC's Karen Hua reports from Washington.
Israel's operation against Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon has created tension between Trump and Netanyahu and remains a sticking point for any peace deal. President Trump telling the Financial Times Netanyahu won't have any choice but to accept a deal with Iran. Trump saying, "I call the shots." Netanyahu doesn't call the shots.
The conflict driving up energy and food prices worldwide. Iran continues to hold a stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz, which is a crucial passage for the world's oil.
It's still early, but there's a potential new breakthrough with a blood test that could detect lung cancers before they develop.
And it's not just detecting lung cancers before they develop, but other lung conditions too. ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula.
This is really early stage. We don't even have a validated blood test yet for this. But why is this so important? Because prevention is so key in medicine. And right now, who do we screen for lung cancer? We screen those who are 50 to 80, who basically have a 20-pack year history of smoking, who are current smokers or quit in the last 15 years. But you can imagine a lot of those individuals, number one, don't know they should be getting screened. Number two, may miss getting screened. And then we miss all the non-smokers who develop cancer.
Dr. Narula says this test could also predict idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis as well. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
All right, before we get into the Cardinals, what we witnessed last night at Worldwide Technology Raceway was the emergence of one of the all-time greats in IndyCar.
9th on the all-time win list, his 34th career win, his 6th here in St. Louis. What a drive. He ties Al Unser Jr. Guys, what a drive, what a driver Joseph Newgarden is.
Joseph Newgarden wins for the 6th time at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The Bommarito Automotive Group 500 is his again. 6 wins in 11 tries. Newgarden, if you recall, was in a terrible crash just 2 weeks ago in the Indianapolis 500. He gutted his way through the Detroit Grand Prix with an injured foot. He's been seen on crutches recently. He was in his car driving 260 laps through some rain delays last night in Madison, Illinois.
The foot is okay, but this looks pretty good for a throne on top of your Chevrolet. How did you fight back when Christian Rasmussen got you?
Well, I don't know what was going on there, but I was going back by him. I don't know what he was doing, but it's this team right here, unbelievable. This Ostemo crew, Team Chevy. I mean, we had everything we needed tonight with Team Penske. So great job to the group. You know, it was just a methodical night. I felt like we had a good car to start, needed to tweak. I wasn't perfect, but then it really came to us just as we needed, and they called the race. It's a track position day. You got to give a lot of credit to Marcus. I thought he was incredibly strong. I don't really think there was much between us. So it was a matter of like who's going to get positioning on each other, and that's what's going to seal the deal. So he drove a great race and certainly could have won this as well. But, you know, this team did the job tonight, so I think that's why we're here.
The call on Fox last night, you heard Newgarden there say, I don't know what he was doing. He actually thought that Rasmussen was a lap down. He wasn't. He was right there competing with him, so good thing he zipped by him, and then he held off Marcus Ericsson for the win. Joseph Newgarden, once again, a winner at the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Now let's play a little Who's Hot, Who's Not. It's sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. Who's hot? Once again, it's Alec Burleson.
1-2 pitch. Burleson lines that down the left field line. Fair ball. As the ball veers toward the foul line to the corner, Burleson finds his way to second base. A stand-up double to open the 5th inning. Only the Cardinals' second hit.
Alec Burleson, once again, he extended his hitting streak to 8 games. He holds an 8-game hitting streak against the Reds, dating back to last year. And same inning, Jordan Walker.
He struck out the last time up. Walker swings and drives it to the gap in left center field, and the Cardinals are on the board. That ball rolls to the wall, and rolling into second, Jordan Walker with an RBI double.
He has been incredible. That is his 4th consecutive multi-hit game, folks, for Jordan Walker. That is the longest active streak in Major League Baseball. Who's not? It would be Nolan Gorman. In this 5-3 win, the Cardinals over the Reds, Gorman was 0 for 3, and his batting average has dipped to 199. Here's President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom.
In Nolan's case, I think we have seen, look, you never put a ceiling on a player ever, in my view, because just when you think you've figured out, hey, this is at this player's best, what he is, there are always cases around the league where guys come out seemingly out of nowhere and they take their game to a whole different level. And our goal as an organization is to have those guys from time to time. Obviously, those cases are rare. Usually guys follow more or less the track you expect. It's a hard game. Sometimes, the reality is a lot of guys fall short of it more often than they exceed it, but we want to have some of those stories in our team. And you see them, there's a couple around the league every year where who thought this was coming? So I never want to say that we know the ceiling of a player, but I think 2023, what he was at that time, we're not talking about a guy that I think is looking to challenge for a batting title. There is going to be some swing and miss. There's going to be some outs to his game, but a guy who controls the strike zone, hits for power, and can play competent defense. And he's shown the ability to do that actually at a couple spots on the infield. Obviously, we're a long way from that now. We know that. He knows that.
That's Chaim Bloom talking about Nolan Gorman. Much more on our Sports on a Sunday Morning podcast. As for the Battlehawks, their season is over. They lost in the semifinals last night at the Dome to Louisville, 29-20. Let me tell you a little bit about St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens, making memories. Mulch, soil, compost available right now at any of their 9 locations. If you want to check them out, stlcompost.com. You can take your truck or trailer right over there and get yourself some mulch, some compost, some soil. I just saw someone put down some mulch over the weekend. You can do that right now to protect your lawn from what could be some drought conditions this summer. We had some last summer, if you recall. Mulch is a great way to combat that. Compost soil as well. It is stlcompost.com, where you can also have it delivered. That's what we did. Had it delivered to our home. You can have it delivered to your place of business as well. stlcompost.com. Growing gardens, making memories.
City SC's Summer of Soccer, presented by Purina, kicks off on Friday, June 12th with the biggest soccer celebration in St. Louis. This festival-style watch party on Lou Fuse Plaza at Energizer Park is free for all and open to the public. Show up at 5 p.m. for live music, local food and drink, giveaways, special appearances, and a live viewing of USA versus Paraguay on 5 massive screens. Learn more at summerofsoccerstl.com.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah, and now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news! Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
That's 6:51. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're looking better now out there, Brian. This traffic reports the service of Community America Credit Union. Looks like they cleared that crash north 55 at M. There's still a little slow traffic approaching M. It really doesn't look that bad once you get past that point. Wide open coming up through 141 to the Merrimack, all the way into downtown. Northbound 270, just getting a little busy in a couple of spots. It's not that bad. North of Manchester up through 64, just a little slow in a couple of areas. Eastbound 30, Mauer Industrial to 270 looks a little slow. And we're starting to see a slowdown out west, that ramp from southbound 61 getting on to eastbound Highway 70. Other than that, Illinois interstates look great, and the rest of the construction zones, I'm not seeing any issues. Just a little busy downtown, westbound 70 past in the Muso Veterans Bridge. Next update is 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Community America Credit Union helps you and me, shortstop Mason win. So win big. Cash back, free checking, win. No service fees or minimum balance, win. So yeah, you really can win with Community America. So can I. That's a win-win.
Flood watch through 1 a.m. Humid today. Couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm with a cloudy sky for the rest of the day. High 83. Tonight, cloudy, warm, and humid. Low 74. Morning clouds and a thunderstorm tomorrow. Then we get partly sunny and very hot. High of 93 for Tuesday. Real feels nearing 100. Currently, we have a cloudy sky downtown. It's 74 degrees.
The news continues at 6:53. Senior citizens expected to outnumber the number of minors in Missouri by 2030, and that gap will only continue to widen. That's according to Mindy Ilstad, the chief of the Bureau of Senior Programs with Missouri's Department of Health and Senior Services.
With about 111,000 of those individuals that are living below the poverty level, we also know that about 830,000 Missourians are living with some form of a disability.
Ilstead says healthcare burdens will continue to shift onto Missouri families who already provide about $11 billion worth of unpaid caregiver labor.
We have 1.1 million Missourians that are currently serving as unpaid family caregivers. We've got to support those caregivers.
KMOX will go in depth on this story at 8:41.
The sound of fights breaking out. Hundreds of youngsters Sunday evening outside the Shrewsbury Sky Zone and Walmart. Social media posts show several police agencies responding to provide assistance and crowd control to Shrewsbury police. This all started around 5 o'clock. As of now, police have not released any official statement. It's not known if there were any arrests or injuries.
St. Louis City Police have arrested 4 people downtown after officers spotted them looking into cars while armed. Police say the group ran from officers near 10th and Washington before being caught. Officers seized 5 guns, including 2 stolen weapons and 1 modified to be fully automatic. 2 men were booked along with 2 juveniles.
The struggle to keep the New World screwworm out of the United States has morphed into a battle to keep it contained to a single county in Texas.
So far, only 2 cases of the potentially deadly screwworm larvae have been detected in the U.S., both on cattle ranches in Zavala County near the U.S.-Mexico border. But across the state, officials are worried.
Cattle is bought, cattle is sold, so they're moving them throughout ranches, throughout Texas.
Juan Carlos Guerra has declared a local disaster in his county, 200 miles away from the affected ranches. And the Texas Animal Health Commission has warned cattle raisers about hefty fines for not reporting suspected cases of New World screwworm. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Celebrity birthdays on this June 8th include pop singer Bonnie Tyler. Happy birthday. She is 74 years old. TV actress Tori DeVito is 41. TV actress Juliana Margulies, 59. Country singer Nancy Sinatra is 85. And happy birthday, actor Keenan Ivory Waynes. He is 67 years old.
Birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Local celebrity birthdays. Jeannie Thornton. Happy birthday, Denise Brunig of Swansea, Illinois, and Linda Neerman of Troy, Illinois, from yesterday's kids. Kelly Moore, Ralph Grazak, Casey Starr Long. Happy birthday, Yukari Feldman, Susie Gorman, Penny Kennedy, and Diane Keegi, as well as Susan Hook and Kim Winchell from the Spring family.
This is the best birthday ever.
You know, it's nice when you can help a good cause and have a great time at the same time. It's a win-win, right? And that's what's happening with the Humane Society of Missouri's Purses for Pooches. If you've never been, it's really a fun time because it is cocktails and hors d'oeuvres, and you enter a raffle for all kinds of unbelievable handbags. I mean, Gucci handbags, you name it, they've got it. Some that are worth thousands of dollars that you can win. And of course, all the proceeds go to help the dogs, the cats, and all the animals through the Humane Society of Missouri. It goes to the Animal Cruelty Task Force, and they do a fantastic job all over the state of Missouri, helping animals who are threatened or abused or in danger and finding them care and forever families. What a great cause. A win-win. You might get a great purse and help a pup. It's Purses for Pooches coming up on the 18th of June, hsmo.org.
Think buying a home is out of reach? Think again. Scott Credit Union has down payment options as low as 0 money down. Your new home could be closer than you think. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
So Ryan and I came
came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Let's check in with Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, northbound 55 is thinned out coming up through Highway M. That looks great. Northbound 270, Clayton Road up through 64, Ladue in the work zone's busy. And southbound 61 seeing some slow traffic, Wentzville Parkway down to 64. Next update at 7:10 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is Monday, June 8th. I'm Brian Feldman. These are the stories making news. The Olympic marathon trials coming to St. Louis, but the official race route not quite locked down. The details next.
Some unique motivation for marathon runners.
There was a couple of runners that got chased off the course by some wild dogs that had gotten loose.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the story from the 1904 St. Louis Olympics.
You may know about some of the great local ice cream shops in the St. Louis region. I'm Tom Ackerman. Did you know there's an ice cream school in our region?
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Lots of clouds, humid today, a couple of showers, and a drenching thunderstorm or two, high 83.
We dodged the rain last night at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Iran's military says that it is halting offensive operations after exchanging fire with Israel. President Trump had called on both countries to stop shooting after the weekend escalation. ABC's Tom Sufi Burge is in Israel.
The IDF saying it intercepted all 10 Iranian missiles, and there are no reports anyone was killed or injured in the attack. Iran retaliating against Israeli strikes earlier today on the Lebanese capital, Beirut. The IDF saying it targeted Iranian-backed Hezbollah in the south of the city just hours after the militant group fired projectiles into northern Israel.
President Trump expected in New York tonight for Game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks hold a 2-0 lead over the Spurs. This comes after a stabbing attack at New York's Penn Station right below the Garden Sunday that left 5 people hurt. Federal officials are on the ground in South Texas to try to make sure the New World screwworm doesn't spread. It's been found in 2 cows. This is ABC News. Authorities in Ohio are asking the public for its help in finding the people who opened fire near a popular festival Saturday in Toledo. 12 people were hurt. Authorities today believe the people were caught in crossfire after 2 began shooting at one another. Toledo Police Lieutenant Dan Gherkin wants people to look through their phones and photos to see if they have anything that could help investigators.
Talk to your kids. There's kids out there that probably know more than all of us standing here, right? So if they can help us out, that'd be great.
At least 32 people were killed in a magnitude 7.8 earthquake off the shore of the southern Philippines. More than 200 others were hurt, mostly in damaged buildings. Death of a salesman dominated at the Tony Awards, taking home 6 honors, while tops at the box office this weekend. The 6th installment of the Scary Movie franchise, the $105.5 million global debut weekend, was the best for any of the 6 movies in the franchise. Brian Clark, ABC News.
At 7:02, we have cloudy skies and 74 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, June the 8th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We'll get you the full forecast. We're in a flood watch until 1 a.m. We'll give you the details at 7:10. The U.S. Olympic Marathon Trial is coming to St. Louis in March of 2028, with the public running the Greater St. Louis Marathon the next day. But landmarks, what will the runners see?
The race will begin where the 1904 Olympic Marathon began, Washington University. From there, they will pass through Forest Park and make their way to downtown, which they will see plenty of as they go through a Criterion Loop. Go St. Louis president Mona Vespa is helping to plan the marathon route and explains what a criterion loop is.
Several times around the same thing is all a criterion loop is. It's a fancy word to say that. Things that are easy about it are it's great for TV. So it's great for TV and their production. It's also really good for spectators. So all of these people downtown watching this event, which we know is going to be tens of thousands, they can now see runners multiple times as they go through.
The finish line will be at Energizer Park, where spectators can fill a stadium to watch who will represent the United States in Los Angeles. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
I'm Michael Calhoun with a look back at the 1904 Olympic Marathon, including a wild finish. Adam Kloppe of the Missouri History Museum says the first man to cross the line was about to be crowned the winner. President Roosevelt's daughter was waiting to hand him the medal until the truth came out.
Oh, actually, he gave up on the race and hopped in a car and got a ride for a couple of miles.
Kloppe says the runner admitted it was a joke and claimed he never meant to take the award, and that finish was only the beginning of the day's strange stories, including some runners who had to fend off company they had not counted on.
There was a couple of runners that got chased off the course by some wild dogs, for lack of a better word. They had gotten loose.
Another competitor got sick after grabbing an apple off a roadside tree. Still, the 1904 Olympics were the very first to be held in the United States.
St. Louis City Comptroller Donna Behringer expressing shock by the state-appointed police board's proposed raises for command staff that has thrown the city's budget into limbo weeks before it must be finalized. KMOX asked her if she believes the police board is being a good partner with the city.
They need to understand the process in the city of St. Louis and how our charter is and when our budget is due and when they should turn things in. And to be able to clearly show us in their budget what their needs are so that we know how to fund them.
She adds, while she understands the department's struggle with salary compression, they need to show where the money for these raises will come from. The raise is expected to be taken up at the board's meeting next week.
Also in the news this morning, if you've wondered what it would be like to live in a walkable urban neighborhood, the Downtown Neighborhood Association invites you to the second annual Downtown Living Home Tour this Saturday. Dan Pistor says from warehouses to office buildings, there are unique spaces.
And they're very unique. You can't find them anywhere else in the region. And then you can actually walk to places there's amenities all around you while you're living in these buildings. You can walk to a national park. You can walk and have dinner. You can go to a sporting event.
It's a self-guided walking tour with more than a dozen different homes to see. There's also a shuttle and free Metrolink passes if you want to check that out. It ends with a post-party at the Thaxton Speakeasy on Olive.
Summer heat makes us long for cold treats. KMOX's Megan Lynch found out there's a science to serving up the best scoop of ice cream.
This cabinet has got to hold the product at +5 degrees, right? For it to be pliable enough to scoop.
Steve Christensen stands in front of an ice cream case at Scoop School in Wildwood, Missouri, also headquarters for the North American Ice Cream Association. He trains scores of shop owners and employees.
The warmer the product is, the easier it is to scoop, but the less life it has in the case. So there's this balancing act of having it pliable enough for someone to scoop, but firm enough so it doesn't melt quick. Firm enough that it doesn't, degrade in the case. But also every flavor, every time you put an extract or a flavor or a puree, changes the freezing point of that mix.
As executive director of the association, he works with hundreds of businesses that have a passion for getting it right. Learn more this morning at 8:11 here on 104.1 FM or listen on the Odyssey app.
St. Louis Public Schools has shut down its central headquarters after an employee contracted Legionnaire's disease. The Post-Dispatch reports workers are staying home after preliminary tests found the bacteria in the water and cooling systems. A school spokesman says the water is turned off to the building. Officials initially said the testing was from storm mold before revealing the severe case of pneumonia.
Still ahead.
The New Line Theater tells the community, we will rock you. This summer, I'm Ivy Lyons with more details on the Euro favorite coming to St. Louis in the minutes ahead.
It's 7:07. Traffic and weather next.
It's not your typical game day look. Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals face the Miami Marlins, and fans can receive a soccer-style Cardinals jersey presented by Purina. Clean, sporty, and unmistakably Cardinals, it brings a fresh energy to the ballpark from first pitch on, and kids take home a vibrant Cardinals soccer ball to keep the action going long after the final out. 2 ways to play. one big Sunday. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fredbird and games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress. Well, one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit landstorylaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:09 on this Monday, June 8th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman alongside Tom Ackerman, and we welcome in Roger Brand from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing all right out there right now, Brian. Everything's pretty good shape, and the few delays we had is sort of thinned out. You normally get into a lull a little bit after 7 a.m., so that's what it's looking like right now. The right lanes of northbound 55, first of all, back there at Highway M, there's no longer any delay, and so it looks good running all the way up. So you get right around Highway, run north of Butler Hill there. It's just a little bit busy in the right lanes approaching 270. So not bad, but 270 itself, we had some slow downs at the top of the hour through 64. Those have dissipated. Southbound 61 onto eastbound 70. That ramp looks better now. It's just a little off the pace. It looked like a moment ago when I saw it. Eastbound 70 coming through Wright City. We have a rain shower moving through the area. That's going to be spotty and popping up now for a while today, I guess. So the road conditions are changeable, especially out west there on 70. But through the construction zone, we're doing okay as far as that goes. And on the Illinois side, the construction zones of 55, 70, 64, everything looks good headed for the downtown bridges. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, flood watches in effect through 1 o'clock tonight. Mostly cloudy and humid today with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm. Watch for flooding on streets and in poor drainage areas. The high today, 83. Cloudy, warm, and sticky tonight with a thunderstorm or two, especially early, though, 74. Tomorrow morning, clouds and a thunderstorm, then some sunshine. Hot and very humid in the afternoon with a high of 93. AccuWeather real field temperatures nearing 100. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We are warming up here in downtown St. Louis. It's 74 in Florissant, 74 in St. Peter's, cloudy and 75 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:11.
Whether it's electricity or clean water, we can't let them cause our utility bills to go up.
J.B. Pritzker, the Illinois governor, talking about data centers in the land of Lincoln and in their veto session. And now the governor's pausing new data center tax incentives.
And most importantly, Illinoisans deserve to know when data centers are being developed in their neighborhoods. Community members need to have the opportunity to voice their opinions, and these developments must be open about their plans.
Pritzker wants the General Assembly to take up the data center issue in their veto session.
Illinois General Assembly passed nearly 400 bills in this last session. Our sister station, WBBM's Jan Coleman, has the story.
Among the bills passed by the Illinois House and Senate is one that would limit where the federal government can build detention centers, another to regulate plastic pellets, and a third that would increase the amount of money that's paid to people wrongfully imprisoned. House Bill 3663 brings a state in line with federally recommended minimum standards set in 2004. The previous system set specific payout amounts with a maximum payout of just under $200,000 if an individual was wrongly imprisoned for at least 14 years. The new payout would be up to $50,000 for each year wrongfully spent in prison and $25,000 for each year wrongfully on parole.
Nearly 100 years ago, members of the St. Louis community had to decide if they would buy into the Nazi ideology. You can learn more at a new exhibition opening at the end of the week. Amy Mormon, Director of Archives and Collections at the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum, tells KMOX there were a couple of small German immigrant organizations in St. Louis that were pro-Nazi.
They, had meetings. They were trying to promote these ideas. And then we found some incidents of people, handing out pamphlets just kind of in people's mailboxes. In 1937, there was actually the German-American Bund had a Nazi rally in Forest Park.
The exhibition's called Nazis Next Door, St. Louis Faces Nazism in the 1930s. It opens Friday and runs through the end of January. It's at the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum.
The musical Schmigadoon and the drama Liberation, the big winners at the Tony Awards. Schmigadoon took home Best New Musical. Liberation won Best New Play. The show focuses on a women's group in the 1970s in Ohio. Ragtime won Best Musical Revival. John Lithgow won Best Lead Actor in a Play for his role in Giant.
Lovers of rock and free expression, look out. A new show's heading your way later this month.
We will rock you at the New Line Theater Center. Songs from Queen, Like Another One, Bites the Dust, and We Are the Champions, bringing a decades-long European staple to the St. Louis metro area. The show follows characters like Galileo Figaro and Scaramouche as they fight to save rock and roll in a post-apocalyptic future. The show runs through June 27th at the Marcel. Tickets are $35 for adults, $30 for seniors, and $25 for students. You can purchase them online through Metrotix. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
With Ricky Orton, I'm John Rooney, and yesterday at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals fell behind. Back-to-back home runs by Matt McLean and Tyler Stevenson against Michael McGreevy, but the Cardinals got back-to-back doubles from Burleson and Walker, and a two-run homer from Brian Torres to go up 3-2. McLean tied it with a home run, but two errors in the eighth inning by the Reds, and the Cardinals swept the Reds, winning 5-3.
Reds pitching gave up an awful lot of walks in the game, a lot of base runners for the Cardinals. They couldn't get the big knockout blow, but they did get enough to win. Michael McGreevy made the start, only 2 runs in 6 innings. His ERA still under 3.
Ryan Stanek came on to get a couple of big outs in the eighth inning and got the win, and a save for Riley O'Brien.
The bullpen was really good. 1 run scored against George Soriano, but nothing but zeros after that.
The Cardinals have won 4 in a row, and they have a 35-28 record going to New York. And we're on the air at 5:15 Central tomorrow night.
Here's our cut of the game, sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Tie game, 8th inning. Victor Scott II.
Steer plays way in on the grass, and here's a bunt on the third base side. Fielded by the pitcher. The throw to third goes down the left field line. Ball throws it away. Fermin scores the go-ahead run. Over to third, Velasquez. Down to second, Victor Scott II. And the Cardinals have taken a 4-3 lead on a throwing error.
They won it 5-3. Scott was optioned to AAA Memphis, according to a report from KMOV's Tamar Scher. He did not make the trip to New York. We'll see if the Cardinals have official word on that transaction later today. Here's what Chaim Bloom said on Sports on a Sunday Morning about the struggling Scott and Nolan Gorman.
What we do need to be, and this applies to those guys as well as everybody, and really applies to all of us in our jobs. This is a competitive business. So if players will, just the nature of it is that our job as an organization is to have a pipeline of players that always give us options and that there's always competition. And it is a meritocracy on some level that players can take playing time from each other when they deserve it. And, that's how you hope that happens, that, there's only so many spots, and you hope players step up and earn that opportunity. But you never want that to come because we gave up on a player. And so we always have to keep that best version of a player in mind. Like I said, in Nolan's case, we've seen it. In Vic's case, I don't think we've seen it yet at the big league level. I think we've seen flashes of that at times. We know the havoc he can wreak on the bases. Seen obviously this year, haven't seen it as much just because he hasn't had as many opportunities because of what's happened in the box. But we know he can be one of the premier base runners and base stealers in the league. He's an above average defender in center field. I think the big thing is just getting him to the point where he can maintain kind of those pesky at-bats that get him on base, and then occasionally, when the at-bat allows, drive the baseball enough to keep pitchers honest. And, the ceiling for this type of player is obviously a top of the order leadoff type hitter. He does not necessarily have to be that to be a really productive player, but obviously he's had trouble finding consistency with the offense, and we need to help him get there.
That is Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, talking about Victor Scott there at the end of that answer. Again, reportedly optioned to AAA Memphis. We'll see if we can get an official word from the Cardinals. That was a Tamar Scher KMOV report. Bloom's appearance on KMOX's Sports on a Sunday morning. The Battlehawks lost 29-20, and they got their season handed to them by the Louisville Kings, who move on to the UFL Championship. This is the third year in a row that the Battlehawks have lost in the semifinals at home. Joseph Newgarden wins the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 for the sixth time. Coming up at 7:45, we'll have a report from Madison, Illinois. This is KMOX.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh, no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen. Izzy, what's going on, man?
Hey, you know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing.
Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass.
Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all that mowing I have to do around the property.
Do it for St. Louis, do it.
Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
How does the traffic look, Roger Brand in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center?
Well, overall, not bad, Brian. I mean, it's getting a little busier. We're getting closer to the heart of the rush hour, so we are seeing a little more volume. So you're starting to see a few slowdowns. Northbound 270, north of Sappington through Gravois, 44 up to about Big Bend, Doherty Ferry up to Manchester, South 270 approaching Olive down to Ladue in the construction zone. A little busy there. There's a brief slowdown eastbound 70 coming through Highway Z. If you're on the run eastbound 64, it looks good from out west. There is a little slowdown right around Spady and a little slow right through McKnight to the inner belts. And on the Illinois side, starting to see a little slowdown here as well in the work zone. Westbound 64 passing 159 in Fairview Heights. But otherwise, no incidents on the interstates. Again, rain showers around the areas, maybe out in Union, 47. We mentioned earlier about 70s old wet out in the Wright City area. So these things are moving around, popping up. So just be prepared for changeable road conditions. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Harmony STL presents Now Playing, featuring the ambassadors of Harmony, Visions of Harmony, the Recruits, and Fleet Street performing the hits that shaped generations. Saturday, June 13th, 2 p.m., Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets at harmonystl.com.
We're in a flood watch until 1 a.m. It's going to be hot and humid today with showers and a heavy thunderstorm. Watch for flooding on streets and in poor drainage areas, high 83. Tonight, cloudy, warm, and humid. Thunderstorm or two, especially early, low 74. Tomorrow, cloudy in the morning with a thunderstorm, and then very hot, sunny, hot, and very humid tomorrow afternoon, a high of 93. It's going to feel like 100. Currently, we have a cloudy sky downtown. It's 75 degrees.
The news continues at 7:22. The already fragile ceasefire between the United States and Iran may be on life support. This as Iran fired ballistics missiles at Israel on Sunday evening in retaliation for Israel's strikes on Hezbollah positions in Lebanon. Israel retaliated against Iran with strikes of their own, and the world is waiting on what President Trump's response will be.
President Trump said on Sunday that recent Iranian missile strikes on Israel were unhelpful to ongoing negotiations for peace in the Middle East. Sirens sounded as Israelis took shelter. The IDF said it would retaliate in a moment's notice and accused Iran of attempting to escalate the conflict. The strikes on Israel were said to be in retaliation for strikes on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon's capital. The president told Fox News that the weekend strikes are certainly not going to help the negotiations. He said we're close to a deal and issued a message to Iran saying, "You've shot your missiles, that's enough. Get back to the table and make a deal." He also criticized Israel's strike on Beirut, saying he wasn't happy about it. Meanwhile, the pressure to end the war with Iran growing in the States. Democratic Senator Mark Warner was on Fox News.
While there has been some incremental progress, we don't have regime change. I think the new crowd is worse than the prior supreme leader. We know we don't have the enriched uranium, and I think it's going to be extraordinarily difficult to get it out.
Last week, the U.S. House passed an Iran war powers resolution that, if passed by the Senate, would limit the president's ability to call the shots in the war. Republican Congressman Greg Murphy voted against the measure and told Fox it wouldn't stop Iran's attacks.
I don't believe that they're going to do anything to stop their belligerence. That said, I think the president is trying to do things in good faith to make the world safer for our children and our grandchildren.
President Trump continues to insist that the war won't end until Iran's nuclear capabilities are non-existent. He said that if a deal is to get done soon, the fighting has to stop. Referring to Israel and Iran, Trump said, quote, "Each of them had their fun. Israel had its strike and Iran had its strike. We don't need another one." As far as the implications of war at home, gas prices are averaging about $4.20 for a gallon of regular unleaded in America. That's about 35 cents higher than this time last year. Over the weekend, OPEC agreed to increase oil production by nearly 200,000 barrels a day, despite the Strait of Hormuz still being closed. That makes it difficult to ship the oil. The move, though, reportedly symbolic. World leaders insisting they're committed to boosting oil production. I'm Clayton Neville.
President Trump walked out in the middle of an interview being conducted by NBC's Kristen Welker on Meet the Press Sunday after a contentious back and forth over claims by the president that last week's elections in California were rigged.
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
And with that, the president left his interview with Welker after she pushed back on his assertion that California's deliberate counting of votes in last Tuesday's primary elections was evidence of fraud.
It's 4 days. And they aren't even close to coming up with it.
That's how they count
You know
the
why
votes
they're
in
doing that?
California.
Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
All
that?
I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not
And I
evidence.
listen.
Trump also continued to tout the virtues of the Justice Department's nearly $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund, created by the Trump administration as part of a settlement of Trump's lawsuit against the IRS. Welker pressed Trump on the fund and its intended use.
Do you think anyone who attacked police officers on January 6th should get taxpayer money?
I wouldn't be inclined to say so, but I have to see it. I can tell you this, 97% of those people, you look at them, the FBI or whoever it was, because you had a lot of crooked cops, you had dirty cops. Comey was a dirty cop.
Well,
A
there's
guy
no
like
evidence
Bolton was a dirty
but
cop.
there's no evidence.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh, you think Comey was a straight cop?
On the Iran war, the president criticized people upset a peace deal hasn't been reached yet.
I'm moving very fast. I'm into 3 months. You know, Vietnam lasted 19 years. I'm into my 3rd month.
Welker asked Trump about promises made on the campaign trail that there would be no new wars in a Trump second term.
What changed? Because you insisted no new wars.
First of all, I didn't guarantee no war. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions, and we will have prosperity and peace for all.
That was President Trump campaigning in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre on August 17th, 2024. Sunday was the 100th day of the war, and the president said they'll have a peace deal done fairly quickly or, quote, we'll finish it out militarily. John Stolness, Washington.
Straight ahead on Total Information AM.
Six Flags dumps dining passes and customers are waiting for refunds.
Well, we never heard any more from them.
So I called KMOX.
And we called Six Flags. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
At 7:28, that time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Man, the trees are growing like crazy out there, aren't they? At this time of year, it is Gamma-Tree Experts' job to keep an eye on those and to make sure that everything is good to go on your property line or at your place of business. It is Gamma-Tree Experts. All you have to do is reach out to them, gammatree.com. They'll be over. They'll take a little look around. Tim Gamma, Tom Gamma, and their outstanding team since 1954 when their father Frank started the business. They've been the premier tree company in St. Louis. Trees have insects like the emerald ash borer that need to be treated. Trees have limbs that can come crashing down after a thunderstorm. Trees can block views. You got to make sure that you keep those trees in check, and they are your growing investments in your yard. We know that you love those trees. We're going to help you protect them with Gamma-Tree Experts. Gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I went to Staples for a custom printed graduation banner and invites and saw that Party City is now at Staples.
Wait, what?
Party City is now at Staples.
So now Staples has balloons,
Yep.
decorations,
Yes.
streamers, cups, table covers?
Yep, Staples has everything for a party. And now buy two, get one free on select foil balloons.
Holy confetti! So the best party started at Staples.
That was easy.
In 613 select stores, exclusions apply. In-store or buy online. Pick up in-store only.
If you replace an old system with a new system, your bills will go down. Promise you. The so-called high efficiency stuff only works if your house is efficient. I don't care about single stage, double stage, multi-stage, variable speed, blah, 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 and SEER ratings. How long can I keep the heat inside my house? And how long do I keep the heat outside? That's efficiencies. If you want an air conditioner that will cool your house in the heat of the day, and you want a furnace that will heat your house in the coldest of days, or you need a new furnace or air conditioner, you want common sense approach, no pressures, and just the probably, I would have to say with no bias, the best company I've ever seen. Are you ready? They have one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600, or on the internet, BartInman.com. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
At 7:30, we have a cloudy sky, 75 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Brian Feldman. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, getting out and getting going this morning, it's not bad. There's definitely more slow going. We're getting closer to the heart of rush hour. We're starting to see a little bit of a backup just briefly, North 270 at Tesson Ferry, but it remains slow through Gravois, like midway to 44, and then again approaching Doherty Ferry to Manchester, and a couple little spots around Clayton Road up through 64, just a little busy. South 270, midway down from Olive to Ladue, seeing a little heavy traffic there. Southbound 61 getting on to eastbound 64 or 70 out west doesn't look bad, but 64 is starting to slow down just east of Winghaven right now, and there's also slow traffic from Lindbergh all the way in through the Interbelt, westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley. Busy again. Rain showers moving through the area, impacting some of your travels, just slowing you down a bit. Eastbound 70, the only delays right now, 270 into the Rock Road, and it's a little busy past that Natural Bridge exit. The north and south 170, it looks like rain's impacting you there around the Midland overpass between Page and the Rock Road. Delays both ways there. Otherwise, Illinois drivers still have a good run going. No delays on 5570 or 64 headed across the bridges. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather, it's going to be a flood watch through 1 a.m., says AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg, because of a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm today. Watch for flooding on streets and in poor drainage areas, high of 83. Tonight, cloudy, warm, and humid with a thunderstorm or two, especially early, low 74. Tomorrow, a morning thunderstorm. Then it's going to be very hot and very humid with a high of 93 for Tuesday. AccuWeather real field temperatures nearing 100. Currently, it's 75 in downtown St. Louis.
At 7:32, pass holders at the St. Louis Six Flags Park say they've been stuck between its old and new owners.
The amusement park is now run by Enchanted Parks, which is honoring previously purchased admission passes, but doesn't offer any kind of dining plan. Refunds go through Six Flags, since that's the company people bought their dining plans from. KMOX listener Ron Lynch says just getting answers from Six Flags on the refund has been a runaround.
Well, Enchanted kept telling us they don't have anything to do with it. That was for Six Flags. And they just give us a number to call Six Flags. And called Six Flags, and all you got was recording, leave your name and message. And, I don't even think they had anything about the refund.
So KMOX took the issue straight to Six Flags. A spokesperson tells us the company is, quote, working diligently with Enchanted Parks to process all eligible refunds and wants to resolve it as quickly as possible. Quote, we appreciate Enchanted Parks guests' patience and understanding. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The state-appointed Board of Police Commissioners is considering an 11th hour proposal to give command staff raises, triggering matching raises for the fire department, and thrusting the city's budget process into chaos. The timing is drawing frustration from more than just the mayor.
I asked Comptroller Donna Behringer her thoughts on the last-minute raises, with the city required to pass a balanced budget by the end of the month.
I don't like surprises like this. I like to be very well organized. And if I do think something's going to come out, have a plan B. But since I didn't know anything about this, I have no idea where they're going to find the funds to pay for it.
Asked if the board is being a good cooperating partner, Behringer says they need to better understand how the city's budget process works and better show their needs and where the funds come from. The Board of Police Commissioners will take up the matter of raises next week. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your money report next at 7:34.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Firsthand, the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners, so they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Yep, he's planning another project. So this Father's Day at Lowe's, tap into free gifts for dad. Get a free Select Craftsman power tool when you buy a Craftsman V20 charger with 2 amp-hour and 4 amp-hour batteries. Plus, get a free DeWalt power tool when you buy a Select 20-volt Max XR 4 amp-hour battery kit. Dad knows our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/14 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
It's 7:36. Your Money Minute is sponsored by UC Bank. Let's get the latest.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. After 9 weeks, the historic artificial intelligence rally came to an abrupt halt on Friday. The S&P 500 tumbled more than 2.5%. This morning, S&P futures are looking at a modest recovery, even as the conflict continues to rage in the Middle East. Meantime, United Airlines says wealthy travelers continue to spend on air travel despite the sharp rise in ticket prices. Airfares have climbed about 20% this year as the carriers deal with the soaring cost of jet fuel. Yet United says it's seen far less resistance from consumers than anticipated. And the luxury retailer behind Saks Fifth Avenue and Neiman Marcus has won approval to exit bankruptcy. Saks Global has shut its discount businesses and closed unprofitable stores to focus on selling the high-end goods for which it's known. Saks filed for bankruptcy in January, blaming high debt and a cash crunch that made it hard for the retailer to keep its stores stocked. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
You've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Hey guys, summer is right around the corner, and right now Universal Windows Direct is making it easier than ever to get the job done. When you buy 4 windows, you get 4 for free. That's one of their biggest offers of the year. The more windows you replace, the more you save. Plus, you'll get 48 months of 0% interest financing, same as cash. 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com to schedule your free estimate today. That's universalwindowsdirect.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It is 7:40. That means we need to check the roadways. Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, certainly busier, but the weather's not helping any either right now, Brian. This traffic reports a service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Northbound 270, you're slowed down north of 55, maybe most of the way up to 44. Big Bend to Manchester, Clayton Road up through to Ladue. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, just a slowdown from Earth City into the Rock Road. If you're going west on 70, there's some heavy stuff right around the city limits through Jennings Station, both directions in North County. 270 around Washington, Elizabeth. Obviously, the westbound side is a little busier. The delays begin at West Florissant on that run through. Eastbound 64, they were clearing, I think, a stall east of Winghaven. There's a jam up through the Winghaven area. And then again, because of the weather, the rain, you're slow from pretty much east of Ballas all the way in through almost really Hampton or the Kings Highway area. South 170, a little bit better, but still a couple of pockets. Delmar to 64, westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, you got delays. North 55 looks great coming up from the south side, and no delays downtown on the Illinois side. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunroofs, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The rain is coming down in downtown St. Louis. AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, as you said it would.
Yeah, this is just a tropical environment right now. The dew points are really, really high. So basically means there's a lot of water in the atmosphere. And as these thunderstorms are erupting, they can let loose a lot of water in a short period of time. Very poor visibility, a lot of road spray, a lot of ponding on streets and highways. And this is going to bring a lot today. A couple of thunderstorms throughout the day. Again, these things can produce a lot of water in a short period of time. That's why we are under a flood watch for today and early tonight as well. Our high gets to about 83. Warm and sticky tonight. Things start to settle down. Still a thunderstorm or two, especially early, though, 74. Now, tomorrow, clouds will break for some sun. There could be a thunderstorm early, then I think it dries out. But boy, is it going to be hot and steamy. The afternoon high, 93, and it's going to feel like it's close to 100 tomorrow afternoon. Mostly sunny Wednesday, breezy, very hot and humid, the high 95. Thursday, more the same, low to mid-90s with sunshine and building clouds. But later in the day and at night, as a cold front approaches, there could be strong to likely severe thunderstorms that march through the area. Behind them, partly sunny, a bit cooler and less humid for Friday, the high 86. 75 degrees at St. Peter, 76 on Florence, the rain, and 77 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's now 7:43.
Police in Toledo, Ohio, searching for the gunman behind a weekend shooting near a crowded street festival. The gunfire wounded 12 people. Police say all the victims in stable condition. The shooting happened near the Old West End Festival, and social media videos show crowds running for cover while medics treated the injured in a park. Investigators have not made any arrests.
Another weekend mass shooting left 9 people injured in Kansas City. Police say the gunfire erupted early Saturday morning at a large gathering roughly 10 miles south of downtown. None of the injuries are life-threatening, but investigators have not made any arrests.
The sound of fights breaking out among hundreds of youngsters yesterday outside the Shrewsbury Sky Zone and Walmart. Social media posts show several police agencies responding to provide assistance and crowd control to Shrewsbury police. This all started around 5 o'clock. As of now, police have not released any official statement. It's not known if any arrests or injuries.
St. Louis police did arrest 4 people downtown after officers spotted them looking into cars while armed. Police say the group ran from officers near 10th and Washington before being caught. Officers seized 5 guns, 2 stolen weapons, 1 modified to be fully automatic. 2 men were booked along with 2 juveniles.
Grafton, Illinois, now part of history that can be remembered for many generations. The National Memorial of Military Ascent. 82 years ago on June 6th, the invasion on the beaches of Normandy began with the 2nd Ranger Battalion climbing Point du Hoc.
Lieutenant General Gerard P. Helwig, currently serving as Deputy Commander of Transportation Command at Scott Air Force Base, marked the life-altering day in 1944.
A deadly threat had to be neutralized. High on top of a heavily fortified 100-foot cliff of Point du Hoc sat a battery of German artillery guns. If those guns were left operational, they would rain devastation down on American troops landing in Omaha and Utah beaches. They had to be silenced. This mission did not just fall onto any unit. It was entrusted to a small group of specially trained soldiers, the men of the 2nd Ranger Battalion, led by Lieutenant Colonel James Rudder.
For 2 days, the 225 men of the 2nd Rangers held Point du Hoc against repeated enemy German counterattacks. Those Rangers changed history, and now Grafton is honoring it. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Let's take a look at the Cardinals first, and then we're going to get into what happened last night at Worldwide Technology Raceway. It was a late night at the racetrack for IndyCar, but during the day, the Reds got swept. And this is the play that did it. Actually, there were 2 of them. Here is the 8th inning with Nelson Velasquez.
Fermin leads at first. A look over there by Maul. Now the pitch. A swing and a hit to left field. The go-ahead run is on second. First and second, nobody out in the Cardinals' 8th.
John Rooney with the call on KMOX. They're in the 8th inning. Victor Scott the 2nd.
Steer plays way in on the grass, and here's a bunt on the third base side. Fielded by the pitcher. The throw to third goes down the left field line. Ball throws it away. Fermin scores the go-ahead run. Over to third, Velasquez down to second. Victor Scott the 2nd. And the Cardinals have taken a 4-3 lead.
Next up.
The pitch to Herrera, swing and a ground ball to the shortstop. It goes off the glove of McLean. Everybody's safe. A second error allows a second run to score in the 8th inning. And the Cardinals lead 5-3.
Oh, my goodness. Riley O'Brien closes it out. Cardinals win 5-3. Reds now 2 games under 500. And looking up at the Pirates, the Cubs, and in second place all by themselves, the St. Louis Cardinals, who are 5 out. They've won 4 in a row. The Brewers sit in first place. Cardinals are in New York today, reportedly without Victor Scott II. Looks like he's been optioned to Memphis. We'll see if the Cardinals make that official. Tamar Scher of KMOV first to report that. And the Cardinals will find themselves at Citi Field tomorrow for a series against the New York Mets. As for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500, it once again goes to a familiar face.
Back on familiar ground, Joseph Newgarden has proved the warrior that he is.
To win the Bommarito Automotive Group 500.
What was going on there, but I was going back by him. I don't know what he was doing, but it's this team right here. Unbelievable, this Ostemo crew, Team Chevy. I mean, we had everything we needed tonight with Team Penske, so great job to the group. You know, it was just a methodical night. I felt like we had a good car to start, needed to tweak. I wasn't perfect, but then it really came to us just as we needed, and they called the race. It's a track position day. You got to give a lot of credit to Marcus. I thought he was incredibly strong. I don't really think there was much between us.
Marcus Ericsson gave him all he could handle, but Joseph Newgarden wins for the 6th time in 11 tries. What he was referring to there was Christian Rasmussen, who finished third. Newgarden thought that he was a lap behind. He was like, what is Rasmussen doing? He was trying to beat him. He went by him, Newgarden did anyway, and ended up winning this race, the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Across the river at the Dome, the Battlehawks lost in the playoffs to the Louisville Kings. Final score was 29-20, and for the 3rd year in a row at home, the Battlehawks lose in the semifinals. It's time for our parlay of the day. It's sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be. I'll tell you who is not going to lose at home in the playoffs and who hasn't lost in 13 straight games and who I told you is going to win the NBA title. And they're going to do it again tonight. I can't believe they're only a 2-point favorite in this game. Is anybody paying attention? The Knicks have slaughtered everybody. Now, in these first 2 games, they've taken it down to the end against the Spurs. You don't think that crowd's going to ignite them tonight? 7:30 tip at home against the Garden. How many times have I said over the last month Knicks are going to win the NBA title? They're going to do it. They're going to win tonight as well. They might sweep. I was wrong about that. I said Knicks in 6. But we'll see. That's our parlay of the day. Knicks to win it all and -2. Sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Folks, when it comes to considering a home improvement or remodeling project outdoors, the single most important success factor to your exterior renovation, talking about windows and siding, is selecting the right contractor for the job. We're talking about windows and siding, folks. This is really important now. Selecting the right contractor, and that right contractor is Banner Construction. Very few can match the experience and dedication to excellence that Banner can, going back to 1993. Now, look, they understand it may be appealing to find a high-end solution for a below-market price, but cutting corners can lead to devastating results. You choose the wrong contractor, they'll leave you with shoddy work, and you won't know until after the work starts, and by then it's too late. Skip all of that and go to Banner Construction. It's very easy. BannerConstruction.com or call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark, $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now, cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Zero Res wants to help clean your home. Big summer savings with 3 rooms clean starting at just $129 and take an additional $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the DGS special.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:52. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got slow traffic, Brian, on northbound 270, north of the Sappington Road overpass through Gravois. Then it's Big Bend all the way up through to 64. That backed up into the work zone past Ladue, especially the ramps coming off 64. They look to be a little more heavily involved than the rest of it. Eastbound Highway 70 from 61 to Highway A. You've got heavy traffic. It's a little busy right around that Cave Springs, Zumbell area, around the Rock Road as well as the airport. There's heavy traffic both directions around Jennings Station. Eastbound's about Bermuda, westbound's about Riverview there. Southbound 170, you've got slow traffic from Olive down to 64. Eastbound 64, we've still got congestion from 364 to Winghaven. We had a stall at least there earlier, and then it's busy through Research Park because of the weather, and then Lindbergh in through the inner belt. Of course, it's jammed. McKnight to Big Bend in the middle of that. Hampton to Hanley westbound, you've got the typical delays. North 55 still looks good. Start to see a little jam up. Looks like maybe some trouble with a crash here on 64 near 25th Street. It's jammed at 111. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We are in a flood watch until 1 a.m. We have rain right now and a heavy thunderstorm also in the forecast, according to Joe Lundberg. Low 74 tonight with a thunderstorm. Tomorrow, a thunderstorm in the morning, then very hot with a high of 93. Currently, it's rain and 74 downtown.
News continues at 7:54. Senior citizens expected to outnumber the number of minors in Missouri by 2030. That gap will only continue to widen. That's according to Mindy Olstead, the chief of the Bureau of Senior Programs with Missouri's Department of Health and Senior Services.
With about 111,000 of those individuals that are living below the poverty level, we also know that about 830,000 Missourians are living with some form of a disability.
Olstead says healthcare burdens will continue to shift onto Missouri families who already provide about $11 billion worth of unpaid caregiver labor.
We have 1.1 million Missourians that are currently serving as unpaid family caregivers. We've got to support those caregivers.
KMOX will go in depth on this story at 8:41.
Also on the show today, you may know about some of the great local ice cream shops in the St. Louis region. Did you know there's an ice cream school in our region? KMOX's Megan Lynch visited Scoop School.
How long does it take to make a batch of ice cream?
On a commercial machine, about 8 to 10 minutes. It doesn't take very long at all.
That's a $30,000 machine. Steve Christensen is executive director of the North American Ice Cream Association, headquartered in Wildwood, Missouri. The organization boasts roughly 2,000 members, all passionate about their investment in cold treats. You can learn more this morning at 8:11 here on KMOX.
Apple expecting to unveil new artificial intelligence features at its annual developers conference today. It'll be the last conference for chief executive Tim Cook before he hands his post over to John Turnus in September. Analysts expect the tech giant to show off updates for its Siri voice assistant as Apple plays catch up with its tech peers.
Roger Brand has traffic next at 7:55.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's tell you about the Lederman Law Firm, and my family has been using the Lederman Law Firm for 20 years now. That's because we believe wholeheartedly in everything that they do. And here's one of the best parts about it. What I really appreciate is that I didn't just work with one person at the Lederman Law Firm. I worked with a team. I've dealt with several different people there over the years. You can tell right away it is a true team, from the lawyers to the paralegals to the legal assistants. Everyone knows the plan. Everyone's working towards the same goal. A major part of that is their dedicated funding team at the Lederman Law Firm. They make sure your assets and your beneficiaries are actually lined up with your plan, your accounts, your property, all of it working together the way it is supposed to. The Lederman Law Firm's team walks you through the process. If you're in St. Louis and you want an estate plan that actually works, check out the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year. So do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Glover here from my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting. Visit thegelmanteam.com or give them a call at 314-336-1991.
We have rain in the area and 75 degrees, and Roger Brand is seeing the effect on traffic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we're slow, Tom, on northbound 270 north of Gravway up to 44, and then Big Bend pretty much all the way up past Ladue. If you're coming in on eastbound 70, you got some backed up traffic. Well, southbound 61 getting on eastbound 70, that ramp's backed up. It's slowed down. Weather is a lot of the issue. 370 in through Zumbel, both directions of 70 around the city limits, but eastbound really from Bermuda all the way through Berkshire is pretty heavy. South 170 bogs down south of Page to 64, jammed at the Parkway, actually. Eastbound 64 backed up east of 364 through Winghaven due to an incident. Then the rain is slowing you down from Highway K all the way to Annie Guns, and again east of 270 through the Interbelt. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Tell you what, I like that Scoop School story. Wildwood, Missouri, home to Scoop School, where people from all over the globe learn how to craft and serve frozen treats. KMOX's Megan Lynch takes us there after the news. Riverboat cruises continue to gain popularity. U.S. News and World Report ranks the best operators and more older people than children. Missouri officials are watching a looming demographic shift. KMOX's Jade Aubrey will go in depth.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Today will be mostly cloudy and humid with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm, the high 83.
Folks, your St. Louis Cardinals just swept the Cincinnati Reds. They've won 4 in a row. I'll be back with the Gas House Gang at noon.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Iran now says its attacks on Israel are over, but Iran's armed forces say that if Israel attacks again, the response will be more severe. This comes after President Trump this morning called on both sides to, in his words, stop shooting. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burge is in Israel.
Over the weekend, the president warning Israel not to retaliate against Iran. The president reportedly telling Axios, quote, "I'm calling Netanyahu right now and telling him not to attack Iran in response," adding, "Each of them had their fun. Israel had its strike and Iran had its strike. We don't need another one." But Israel did retaliate.
Tonight, the president plans to become the first sitting president to attend an NBA Finals game for Game 3 of the series between the Knicks and Spurs in New York City. That's led to tighter security in the area. Jury selection begins today in Southern California in the federal arson trial of the man charged with starting the deadly Palisades fire last year. This is ABC News. The TSA is investigating a startling stowaway case that originated in Texas, and ABC's Jim Ryan says the dominoes started to fall well beyond the boarding area.
According to a criminal complaint, 25-year-old Abdul Rahman Oriyomi got onto a Los Angeles-bound United Airlines flight in Houston without a boarding pass.
I think this is a pretty significant breach,
says security consultant Mark Matrania.
It's the multiple layers and failures to even get on the plane.
Oriyomi is thought to have walked past a distracted gate agent without scanning a boarding pass before flying off to L.A. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Apple's expected to show off all kinds of new AI features when it kicks off its Worldwide Developers Conference later today. This will be the last one, headlined by CEO Tim Cook before he retires. Broadway's best honored at the Tony Awards, Death of a Salesman, won 6 honors on the night. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have cloudy skies, 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, June 8th. I'm Megan Lynch. If you bought a season dining plan at Six Flags St. Louis, you may be chasing a refund this year. KMOX's Michael Calhoun looks into the issue.
The park was sold by Six Flags and is now owned by EPR Properties and managed by Enchanted Parks. KMOX heard from listener Ron Lynch, who bought 3 season passes and 3 dining plans on a special last year when it was still owned by Six Flags. He hit a snag the first time his family went out.
They honored the admission pass, but they said they weren't going to honor any of the dining passes. And they gave them a number to call for Six Flags, and they said, it's up to Six Flags for that. So we called, and all you got was recordings. And you leave a message, leave your email address and things like that, and they said they'd get back to you. Well, we never heard any more from them.
So KMOX took this to Six Flags, and a spokesperson tells us the company understands the frustration and is working with Enchanted Parks to process all eligible refunds as quickly as possible. Lynch says the dining plan was a good deal.
It paid for itself because we live close enough where they used it enough.
The CEO of Enchanted previously told KMOX that they lowered food prices by several dollars when they took over the St. Louis park. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The U.S. Olympic Marathon Trial coming to St. Louis in March of 2028, with the public running the Greater St. Louis Marathon the next day. Does it mean the route is set? Not exactly, says Mona Vespa with Go St. Louis, who organizes the annual marathon.
What we know is that the route we proposed, that we put together as a team collectively, will probably be tweaked a bit over the next 2 years between USA Track and Field, between a lot of the media, who is a big part of this will work for TV and this won't.
She says what is set is the race beginning at the Olympic Rings on the campus of Washington University through Forest Park, looping through downtown before ending at Energizer Park. It's worth remembering the last time the city hosted an Olympic marathon 122 years ago, now remembered as one of the most notorious races in Olympic history. Missouri Historical Society's Adam Kloppe says even the man who won barely made it to the line.
The guy who ends up winning the event, he had trainers following him, and he was hallucinating at one point. He didn't think he could finish, so they ended up giving him a mixture of egg whites, strychnine, and brandy, just to keep his muscles firing and get him moving.
That was 1904, the first Olympics ever held in the U.S., staged alongside the St. Louis World's Fair. The state-appointed Board of Police Commissioners in St. Louis considering the proposal to give command staffer raises, triggering matching raises for the fire department and thrusting the city's budget process into chaos, the timing drawing frustration from more than just the mayor.
IS Comptroller Donna Behringer, her thoughts on the last-minute raises, with the city required to pass a balanced budget by the end of the month.
I don't like surprises like this. I like to be very well organized, and if I do think something's going to come up, have a plan B, but since I didn't know anything about this, I have no idea where they're going to find the funds to pay for it.
Asked if the board is being a good cooperating partner, Behringer says they need to better understand how the city's budget process works and better show their needs and where the funds come from. The Board of Police Commissioners will take up the matter of raises next week. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The number of senior citizens in Missouri is expected to blow past the number of kids and teens by the year 2030. That's according to Mindy Olstadt, the chief of the Bureau of Senior Programs with Missouri's Department of Health and Senior Services. Olstadt says the gap between the number of seniors and minors in the state only projected to get larger as people continue to live longer and the country's birth rate continues to decline.
We know that fastest growing population right now is the 85 plus population, and that's expected to double by 2040. So not only are we living longer, but our older adults are living longer, and that population is growing.
And we'll go in depth on this morning at 8:41 here on Total Information AM. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker pausing the release of any new data center tax incentives. He's calling on the General Assembly to take up the issue in its veto session.
Working families shouldn't get stuck paying the bill when data centers aren't stepping up. That means paying for their water, electricity, and other resources they use.
Pritzker says Illinoisans need to know when data centers are being developed in their neighborhoods. The Illinois General Assembly passed nearly 400 bills this last session. Our sister station, WBBM's Jan Coleman, has the story.
Among the bills passed by the Illinois House and Senate is one that would limit where the federal government can build detention centers, another to regulate plastic pellets, and a third that would increase the amount of money that's paid to people wrongfully imprisoned. House Bill 3663 brings the state in line with federally recommended minimum standards set in 2004. The previous system set specific payout amounts with a maximum payout of just under $200,000 if an individual was wrongly imprisoned for at least 14 years. The new payout would be up to $50,000 for each year wrongfully spent in prison and $25,000 for each year wrongfully on parole.
As the Nazi movement took root in Europe, the ideology was being spread in St. Louis. A new exhibition coming to the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum explores the spread of extremism and hate in the 1930s. Director of Archives and Collections, Amy Moorman, tells KMOX the Nazis used the German consulate here and others to spread propaganda.
They actually were sending people over here, specifically students we found at the University of Missouri. There were exchange students who came over and were here specifically to kind of spread the message about how great things were in Germany.
Nazis Next Door, St. Louis Faces Nazism in the 1930s, opens Friday. It's 8:08, traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for an unforgettable evening of music with the legendary, incomparable Bernadette Peters, legendary Tony Award-winning star of stage and screen. With her signature charisma and unmatched artistry, this one-night-only performance with your SLSO offers an intimate concert experience with one of musical theater's most luminous voices and a must-see event for Broadway and symphony fans alike. Don't miss an evening with Bernadette Peters, Friday, June 12th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts, Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We do have some storms in the region. Let's see if that's affecting the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it definitely is, Megan. And then we have some incidents like I think there's a crash on eastbound 70 just past with the ramp that comes on from 61. The eastbound 70s. Pretty solid jam at Z, and it's not raining much there right now, so but it may have led to the crash. Who knows? Eastbound 64, if you're going to go that way, you're backed up approaching Winghaven. We had an incident east of there. It's still slow midway to K. There's some slow traffic around Clarkson and McKnight into Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, the usual slow stuff. 70, by the way, east of 61, you've got slow traffic, again, weather-related, from east of Cave Springs all the way into 270. North 170, it looks like we have an incident near Scudder. There's a little bit of a backup northbound there. If you're on northbound 55, that's a good run coming in to downtown from Festus, really. Northbound 270, Doherty Ferry all the way up to Ladue. South 270, not as bad. The northbound stuff goes up to about Page. And on the Illinois side, it's slow through 157 both ways on 64, and then westbound 64 jams approaching 111. We had a crash. They were clearing just west of there. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A flood watch is in effect through 1 o'clock tonight. It'll be mostly cloudy and humid today. A couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm or two that can lead to flooding on streets and in poor drainage areas. The high 83. Cloudy, warm, and sticky tonight. A leftover thunderstorm or two, especially early, though 74. Tomorrow, morning cloud and a stray thunderstorm, then partly sunny, hot and very humid in the afternoon. The high tomorrow, 93, but AccuWeather real field temperature could get close to 100. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We do have some rain reported in Florissant and a lot of heavy rain coming down in the Metro East right now. 76 in Florissant and St. Peter's, 75 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. And this morning, we whet your appetite for a taste of summer. When I learned that an organization representing hundreds of local ice cream shops and creameries across North America is located in our region, I had to visit.
So we have 3 batch freezers that make premium ice cream, anything that's really scooped. We have custard equipment here. We got soft serve machines.
Tucked away in an unassuming building in Wildwood, Missouri, is an ice cream parlor that has trained countless people how to blend, scoop, and serve up frozen delights. It's called Scoop School.
We'll teach them how to formulate flavors using pastes and extracts, gelato, water ice, premium ice cream, custards. People love to kind of get their hands dirty per se and kind of formulate. Like some of the crazy flavors people want to make during class, I say, let's just tone it down a little bit and do some cookies and cream and some birthday cake, because people are throwing out, oh, what about, do you have any goat's cheese and fig? Okay, take it easy on the goat's cheese and fig.
Steve Christensen is executive director of the North American Ice Cream Association, boasting roughly 2,000 members across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Along with machines and coolers, Scoop School has walls of stainless steel shelves for ingredients and, of course, a counter with stools to sample their final creations.
We do a lot of whipped cream, hot fudge. We teach them how to roll waffle cones. We teach them how to blend shakes. A lot of equipment there to kind of basically whatever's handed over to the customer, they're learning how to do that here. Portion control, how to layer, and so forth.
Opening up an ice cream shop is a significant investment. Christensen says startup costs can range from $80,000 to $220,000, especially if someone wants to invest the money to make it all from scratch.
But it's interesting, people come here with a view of, well, I don't want to make my own ice cream. I'll just buy my ice cream. When they start the process up and they kind of start to taste the fresh product coming out and then formulating different flavors, their world opens up a little bit, put it that way.
Entrepreneurs will invest even knowing the cold months may be a struggle. They may have to shift to other products over the winter to keep employees working. Christensen believes it's about so much more.
Can you make more money in another business? I mean, probably. But we find that the members of the association and generally your local ice cream shop owners just love the process of being a focal point or a connection point in the community. And that's what drives a lot of our members and a lot of ice cream shop owners to keep doing what they do. People don't go to an ice cream shop to get ice cream, I feel. They're going for the experience or for a memory or a commiseration or a celebration. So a lot of our ice cream of community and taking the family out from buying a pint at the grocery and taking it home.
When you look at some of the innovations that these shops are bringing to their customers, describe some of the things that they're doing to really enhance what we think about ice cream and similar products.
Well, equipment has come a long way. The Nancy Johnson hand-cranked ice cream freezer by design is still, in essence, what a lot of companies are doing. So you've got companies here in the US, companies internationally that are looking to have a much more cleaner, less or more efficient, I should say, ice cream machine. In the store, again, stores are leaning into a very heavily social media process. So you'll find in a lot of ice cream shops, maybe a logo wall or an area where someone can kind of post that, hey, this is where we are and this is what we're doing. Crazily enough, stickers are making a huge comeback. I don't know what the deal is. But stores having stickers and merch and different things are a next level of connection there. I feel as though a lot of ice cream shop owners now, it's just not enough to open up a brick and mortar and, fingers crossed, hope we do business. A lot of them now are out in the community. They're doing catering. They're doing making ice cream for wineries or breweries. They're doing farmers markets. They're doing weddings. And so ice cream shop owners have had to really diversify their revenue streams.
Is there a hierarchy when you compare a custard to a traditional ice cream, to a gelato, or to a soft serve?
When we have classes of people coming in here to open up ice cream shops, what are people coming in for? And primarily it's premium ice cream. People love that kind of American hard scoop, 28 to 30 flavors. That's really probably, as an overall, the most popular. Would I say it's the king? It's close to the king. But, regionally that changes. In the Midwest, we love our custard. So we love our rich, deep, fat, sugary, sweet flavors in the Midwest. So custard is king in the Midwest. Gelato on the East and West Coast do very well. Gelato does well in Florida. Don't rule out soft serve. Soft serve's making a huge comeback. There are a lot of places that are looking at a retro, bringing soft serve back, a nice, rich soft serve product. So non-dairy, there's water ice places popping up. We see growth in each of those segments.
How did someone from Australia get involved in the ice cream industry and end up here in Wildwood, Missouri?
It's crazy. It is crazy. When I think I was a policeman in Australia for a long time.
Really?
And all I wanted to do was be a policeman. Anyway, the world's getting crazier. I got stabbed and I thought, maybe I don't want to be a policeman anymore. So as we were thinking, what's our exit strategy leaving the police? We had some very good friends that were in the aviation business, went to a trade show in Milwaukee and tasted frozen custard for the first time. And they came back with this cockamamie scheme of, we're going to open up custard stores. And I guess it was, kismet. I was wanting to get out of the police. They were wanting to have a business partner. And so I left the police. We opened up custard stores in Australia. The company that we bought our equipment from was based here in the US in Upper Michigan. And they came out and said, we love your passion. Would you like to move to the States and maybe help grow our business? So we're up in Michigan for a little while in education and training. And then we kind of moved down to St. Louis 21 years ago. We call St. Louis home.
What do you love about it?
The industry is just full of just great people, just fun-loving, community-loving people. They've got big hearts. Again, there are a lot of industries where you could make a lot more money, but this industry draws people that just love the product. They love their customers. They love the community. And, the association puts on a trade show every year. We call it Cone Con. And when you get 2,000 of these people under one roof, it's a party.
That is Steve Christensen, who brought Scoop School to the St. Louis region and is the executive director of the North American Ice Cream Association based in Wildwood. By the way, there is some sweet competition at Cone Con as hundreds of shops vie for flavor of the year. Past winners include some familiar names, Clementines and Serendipity. We do have some storms in the area. Let's check the roads again with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, that's the primary issue out there right now, Megan. This traffic reports service of Scott Credit Union. So it's rain slowed on eastbound 70. You've got actually a jam from Wentzville Parkway in through 61. We had an incident there. It's still backed up. It's not raining as intensely there, but there's slow traffic from really 370 almost all the way into the airport. South 270 coming around the bend through Lindbergh on down to 70. It remains busy both ways because of the weather, all the way down to 64. North 270 slow at 44, and then it jams from Doherty Ferry up to, it looks like we have a crash right before the Clayton Road overpass, so that's some trouble. If you're on eastbound 64, there's still delays through the Winghaven area. It backs up approaching Winghaven, then it's slow from Bob Boone's Crossing all the way to almost Timberlake and right around the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker out to Hanley's heavy, and then there's slow stuff Clayton Warson out through Lindbergh. And on the Illinois side, still a couple of slow spots. Westbound 64 passing 111, where we had an earlier crash, and eastbound 70 a little busy at Packers Avenue. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company St. Louis Traffic Center.
And I'm looking at the radar right now, and it looks like we do have some pretty heavy rain moving through Pacific, Eureka, Wildwood, Chesterfield. It looks like Maryland Heights is about to get hit with it. And then again, off to the east, Granite City, Collinsville, and it looks like Edwardsville and Glen Carbon in the path of some of those storms right now. There is a flood watch in effect throughout the day. Otherwise, we will see mostly cloudy skies. It will be humid today. And we're expecting a high of 83 degrees. Cloudy, warm, humid tonight. We could still see a thunderstorm or two, especially early in the evening. Expect an overnight low of 74. Right now, we do have a little bit of rain, 76 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Love your low mortgage rate but need extra cash? Don't refinance. Get a Scott Credit Union home equity line of credit for home renovations or debt consolidation. Learn more at scu.org. Rates vary. Terms and conditions apply.
It's Tom Ackerman. This is the time of year for thunderstorms, also for some big-time tree growth. There are all kinds of things that could be trimmed back. Limbs could be taken care of. There's a lot that Gamma Tree experts can do. Just hire them to take a look around or have them consult you first. Take a look around your yard. 1954. That's when Frank Gamma started the business back then, and his sons Tim and Tom Gamma carry it through today with a team of experts. Gamma Tree experts, foresters, horticulturists, master arborists. This is what they do. They take care of your living assets, your trees. It's Gamma Tree experts, the best in the business, whether it's for home or business or municipal services as well. Gamma Tree experts does all of that. Visit them online at gammatree.com. Gamma Tree experts, your trees deserve the best care.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Hair volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
This is Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. River cruises becoming more popular. U.S. News and World Report has ranked river cruise lines worldwide and in our region. Nicola Wood is senior editor of travel at U.S. News.
River cruising is one of the fastest growing segments of the travel industry right now. So we're really excited about this new ranking. We included 10 popular river cruise lines from around the world, and our aim was really to just provide a comprehensive look at the various cruise lines.
Well, and obviously we have a big interest with the Mississippi right here on our doorstep. I'm curious, domestically, what did you find?
Sure, yes. So 2 of the cruise lines on our list provide Mississippi River cruises. That's Viking River Cruises, and they came in at number 3, and American Cruise Lines at number 7.
I never realized how luxurious some of these experiences are. Describe what, a customer is going to get with a river cruise.
Absolutely. They can be very luxurious. I know in the case of Viking, they are also adults only. So, if you kind of want a kid-free trip, as a whole, river cruises do provide that, but Viking confirms it with their policy. You can expect, larger staterooms than you would typically find on an ocean cruise ship, very luxury dining, and just very kind of port immersive experiences. So you're not going to spend a ton of time, at sea or at river in this case. Pretty much every day you'll wake up in a new port and kind of experience the culture of that area.
So how did you rate this? What did you look at for these cruises?
Sure. So we considered expert scores. We looked at traveler ratings, industry accolades, and we also considered things that river cruisers really care about most. So things like all-inclusive pricing, itinerary diversity, onboard amenities, and shore excursion options.
Why do you think this has become so much more popular?
I think people are really looking for a relaxing vacation, and especially one where you don't have to plan a ton. So in the case of river cruises, you pick your itinerary and you book it, and then basically everything is included. So you don't have to figure out so many logistics with, flights between different places, or, renting a car, or where are you going to eat dinner? Everything is kind of included in there. And so it provides kind of a laid back experience, and you still get to see a bunch of really cool places.
What about the travel value compared to other things? You mentioned, some of the differences with, for example, an ocean cruise.
Sure. So river cruises are going to tend to be a bit more expensive than ocean cruises. If you're interested in saving some money, I would always recommend starting with the cruise line websites. They will sometimes have ongoing special offers like free airfare and other discounts. And you might also want to consider using a travel advisor because they do sometimes have access to deals that regular customers don't.
What are some of those day trip offerings that a lot of these cruise lines offer on rivers?
Sure. So it varies by itinerary, but in the Mississippi specifically, you can take kind of foodie tours where you could sample different cuisines. You could visit Graceland, which is the home of Elvis Presley. You can even do something so unique as like touring a family-owned dairy farm in Iowa and sampling cheeses and things there. There's really something for every type of traveler. I would recommend travelers take a look at the ranking. They can find us on travel.usnews.com.
That is Nicola Wood with U.S. News and World Report. It's now 8:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at Amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Let's get the latest on the roads. The rain has messed some things up for you. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's slowing folks down in certain areas around the metro right now, Megan. You're right. This traffic reports the services of the Sandburg Phoenix Law Firm. North 270 are slow from Tesson Ferry up to 44, and then north of Big Bend all the way to Ladue. South 270 from Dorset down to Ladue is busy in North County. Westbound 270 West Florissant through McDonald to about 370. Eastbound 70 still has some slow stuff, primarily 94 in toward the airport's the busiest part. 170, you've got rain, slow traffic, Natural Bridge, Airport Road area, both directions. 64 around the city limits, and McKnight is slow both ways. Eastbound 64 still has heavy stuff coming in through Winghaven, Midway, and Decay. Annie Guns to about Timberlake as well. 44 eastbound is a little heavy spot right in Pacific. It's also a little slow around Elm. Downtown westbound 64, no delays. Illinois drivers right now are looking good. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we do have some pretty heavy rain around the area. It's hitting Florissant, St. Charles, Bridgeton, Maryland Heights right now. There's kind of a gap, and then we see it again in Wood River, Bethalto, Godfrey, also getting some heavy rain. It moves on up through Jerseyville as well. We'll continue to track that for you. And because of that rain that we've got coming down, there is a flood watch. You need to watch for flooding on streets and in poor drainage areas. Today, when the storms move away, we'll have mostly cloudy skies. It'll be humid. We're expecting a high of 83 right now. Cloudy skies, 76 downtown at the Arch. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has a team on the ground in South Texas working to contain the New World screwworm cases discovered on 2 ranches in the past week. ABC's Jim Ryan says the flesh-eating flies pose serious threats in a number of ways.
So far, only 2 cases of the potentially deadly screwworm larvae have been detected in the U.S., both on cattle ranches in Zavala County near the U.S.-Mexico border. But across the state, officials are worried.
Cattle is bought, cattle is sold, so they're moving them throughout ranches, throughout Texas.
Juan Carlos Guerra has declared a local disaster in his county, 200 miles away from the affected ranches. And now Canada is working to protect its $17 billion cattle industry by banning the importation of Texas livestock. The U.S. took similar steps when the potentially deadly screwworm larvae were detected in Mexican cattle. But Texas Governor Greg Abbott insists the Canadian government is overreacting in issuing its own restrictions. Cattle raisers are well aware of the threat, but the New World screwworm is not just an agricultural concern.
Cats, dogs, backyard chickens, any warm-blooded animal the screwworm can get at.
And South Texas rancher Mark Hubbard says
some of the people that own those types of domesticated animals are not aware.
And if their pets become infected, Hubbard fears that livestock like his could be at risk. Jim Ryan, ABC News in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Your money report from Bloomberg is next.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
CSC Summer of Soccer, presented by Purina, kicks off on Friday, June 12th with the biggest soccer celebration in St. Louis. This festival-style watch party on Lou Hughes Plaza at Energizer Park is free for all and open to the public. Show up at 5 p.m. for live music, local food and drink, giveaways, special appearances, and a live viewing of USA versus Paraguay on 5 massive screens. Learn more at summerofsoccerstl.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I am grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Time for your money report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Novo Nordisk says its blockbuster obesity drugs could ultimately pull it into increasingly buzzy areas of healthcare, from longevity research to aesthetic medicine. Novo is asking its scientists to look beyond weight loss and identify other diseases that future generations of GLP-1 drugs could be designed to help. Iranian media is reporting that the country's military operation against Israel has ended. And OpenAI is about to launch a major platform overhaul. According to the Financial Times, OpenAI is said to be planning to transform ChatGPT from a standard chatbot into a comprehensive super app with changes set to roll out in the coming weeks. It will involve a redesign of the company's website and mobile app interface. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Tom Ackerman here. You know, I've been talking about McKelvey Homes for a while. McKelvey Homes, Missouri's oldest home builder, going back to 1898. They're the ones who've been doing it a long, long time. And they're breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon called Strawberry Farms. First foundations are in, display home opening soon, walking trails, a lake, a berry patch honoring the land's history as strawberry fields. That's why it's called Strawberry Farms. A private playground, Fort Zumwalt schools, a fresh start in a great location. Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon, Missouri. Look, I've worked with Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes, long enough to know when Jim and McKelvey decide to build something, they do it right. Visit McKelveyhomes.com to learn more. It's a great website, easy to navigate. McKelveyhomes.com to schedule a tour. Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Move up to McKelvey.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Even when Viagra and Cialis don't work, here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
It's time to slide into a deal with Side & Sugar No-B Partners. Right now, catch 0% financing for 84 months on a John Deere 1025R compact tractor package for as low as $269 a month. This one machine is built to do it all. Mow, move, dig, and clear with ease. Don't wait, this offer ends June 30th. Slide into a deal today at Side & Sugar No-B Partners, snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 6/30/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Artistic Text. For 26 years, we've been making dreams affordable in the St. Louis area. With an A-plus BBB rating, we're the team you can trust. Let us build your dream deck. Artistic Text. For a free consultation, call us at 314-280-0821.
This is 104.1 FM, KMOX. Here's what's happening. U.S. consumers haven't stopped spending since the Iran war drove up fuel prices, but analysts say they're shifting their behavior. For example, drivers are flocking to the fuel pumps at warehouse stores like Costco and Sam's Club, and they're not filling up their tanks all the way. Israel and Iran have traded fire early in their first attack since the U.S. struck a ceasefire with Tehran 2 months ago. And trials set to begin in Los Angeles for the man accused of sparking last year's deadly Palisades fire. Let's get the latest on the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center. What problems do we have out there, Roger?
Well, mostly weather-related, I think, Megan. The traffic reports the service of the choruses of Harmony STL because it's just rain slowed in several spots. Well, first of all, there's restrictions on that ramp southbound 61 to eastbound 70 in that construction zone. So southbound 61 back up to Winslow Parkway, ramping onto 70. 70 still a little busy. The Blanchette Bridge into the Rock Road, a couple of spots. Westbound 270. The Halls Ferries into Washington Elizabeth look kind of busy. 70 both ways around the city limits. So we're talking like West Forest and Jennings Station area. The weather's slowing you down. South 270 is off the pace from 364 to Ladue. North 270. Really sort of pockets north of 55 all the way up to Ladue. It's just busier both ways in that Doherty, Ferry, Manchester area. Eastbound 64, Winghaven Midway to K, Annie Gunts all the way to Timberlake, and then east of Lindbergh. It's slow both ways between Hampton and the Inner Belt, obviously. South 170 bogs down at Olive. And Illinois side, really not too bad. Westbound 64 is a little slow at 159 and 255 coming down through Seminary Road. Looks a little heavy. I'm Roger Brand, and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Harmony STL presents Now Playing, featuring the ambassadors of Harmony, Visions of Harmony, the Recruits, and Fleet Street performing the hits that shaped generations. Saturday, June 13th, 2 p.m., 2 Hill Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets at harmonystl.com.
Just ahead on Total Information AM, more older people than kids. Missouri officials are watching a looming demographic shift. Our Jade Aubrey will have more in just a minute. Checking the weather for today, of course, we do still have some storms moving through the area, and there is a flood watch in effect for much of the day. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and humid with a high of 83. Right now, cloudy skies, 76 downtown at the Arch. By 2030, the number of senior citizens in Missouri is expected to be higher than the number of children and teens. By 2060, the Department of Human and Senior Services says that gap will be significant. KMOX's Jade Aubrey talks with Mindy Olstad, the chief of the Bureau of Senior Programs with the department, about the impact of those numbers.
So we know that adults 65 and older that live in Missouri is currently the number is around 1,100,000, but that number is expected to grow. That's about 18% of our population, with about 111,000 of those individuals that are living below the poverty level. And again, we do expect that number to continue to grow. And we know that almost 200,000 Missourians are dealing with housing costs that are more than 30% of their income, which is an indicator of potential issues to come. We also know that about 830,000 Missourians are living with some form of a disability, and that could be a physical disability, an intellectual or developmental. 300 older Missourians live alone, with 23,000 of them not having a vehicle. And the reason that that is important is we know that living alone can be a concern for isolation and loneliness, which can have a major health impact on individuals. And then the state is seeing currently about 43,000 reports of abuse, neglect, or exploitation that we've been investigating to ensure that older adults are receiving the best environment that they can possibly be living in.
Why is this number increasing? Do you have any idea?
Why the older adult population?
Yes.
Yeah, it's because of advances in health and science and people learning how to better take care of themselves. We have individuals that are living much longer now. And what we're also seeing is that people are having less children. So we're actually seeing the population flip by 2030 to where older adults will outnumber children for the first time. So it's something that we've been working very hard on to prepare for this. But it's a good problem to have, right? We're healthier, we're living longer, but we just want to make sure that we have the supports and information in place to help Missourians be able to live their best lives.
Yeah, and I heard you say all of these numbers are expected to continue to increase as well. Is it the same reasons for that?
It is, yeah. We know that fastest growing population right now is the 85 plus population, and that's expected to double by 2040. So not only are we living longer, but our older adults are living longer, and that population is growing.
And what impacts could this have on overall public health services? Well, that's kind of a broad question, but...
Yeah, absolutely. So we're thinking about it in a multitude of ways, but especially with healthcare, I mean, we have to think about the paid caregiver shortage that we have. A lot of our older adults receive services through Medicaid or Medicare and rely on those in-home or home health companies. And we already have a direct care worker shortage in those areas. And so we know that we're going to have to continue to build up those populations, but also looking at rural healthcare deserts. We know that rural counties will be hit the hardest by this population change, and we don't know how that's going to affect the number of older adults living in those areas, or if they'll move closer to the more populous areas. But it's something that we're really focusing in on, is those healthcare deserts and the food deserts and all the ways that people will be able to access things to help them stay healthy. We also know that the burden on families is changing, and because we have 1.1 million Missourians that are currently serving as unpaid family caregivers, we've got to support those caregivers. They're currently providing an estimated $11 billion with a B dollars in economic value annually. And so we've got to shift some of our healthcare focus into taking care of those caregivers that are caring for our older adults and adults with disabilities. We recognize that there may not be enough direct care workers and home health workers and individuals in long-term care facilities to take care of the older adults as this population population continues to grow. So we really think we're going to see a shift on more families having to provide that support. And so we're looking at how we can support not only that workforce, but those caregivers that are going to take on some of this burden.
Yeah, and I was going to say, well, I feel like we hear all the time that it's hard to find a job nowadays, but it seems like this is going to be kind of a booming business to find a job in.
Absolutely. I tell everybody that's not sure what they're doing coming out of high school, like looking at getting into doing anything that's taking care of older adults, because that really is where that need is going to be in the next 5 years.
Yeah, and I heard you say you think that shift will kind of be placed on families. Is there any support and services right now for families who are taking care of family members and they're going unpaid?
Absolutely, yeah. So we have the 10 area agencies on aging, and they receive funding through the Older Americans Act as well as general revenue funding from the state of Missouri. And they all provide family caregiver support, and that's in many different ways. And they also service 4 populations. So I think a lot of people think of the area agencies on aging as just serving those older adults, but they also serve the caregivers that take care of older adults, as well as older adults that may be caring for children, older adults that may be caring for adults with disabilities, and those individuals at any age that are caring for anyone with Alzheimer's or related dementias. And that's at any age. So the area agencies on aging can serve a large population of caregivers through those programs. The state of Missouri also has the Missouri Caregiver Program, and that is run through our community asset builders. And they work with the Alzheimer's Association and Memory Care Home Solutions to provide training and assessments in the home of caregivers. And then through that assessment and training, they can identify other areas where they may be able to provide funding for respite or other financial burdens that the family may be facing, and also can connect them with assistive technology through Missouri Assistive Technology to make sure that they have everything that they may need to feel comfortable in taking care of their loved ones.
I guess just generally, besides putting out these numbers to raise awareness, what's another goal?
I think it's really just to help Missourians understand that this population shift is happening, and really getting to know your neighbors, really getting to know the people around you, because not only is family a good support, but sometimes our neighbors are, right? Neighbors may be the first one to notice if something's going on if the family's not seeing their loved one regularly. They also can lend support to older adults that might be in their community. If they're running to the grocery store or doing errands, they might ask that older adult if they can do something for them or bring them along with them even.
That's KMOX's Jade Aubrey talking with the Chief of the Bureau of Senior Programs with the Missouri Department of Human and Senior Services, Mindy Allstat. Coming up next on Total Information AM, tech giants agree to a big payout to a school district. KMOX media expert Julie Smith is going to be along to tell us why.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It's Tom Ackerman for the great company, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. 1926, a century of service. Here's to the garage door, the largest piece of moving equipment in our home. The garage door, sometimes we take it for granted. It goes up, it goes down. You just rely on it every single day to do what it does. Well, what if it doesn't someday? That would be a problem. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will keep your garage door reliable by checking it out. Just get it tuned up, make sure that it's running smoothly, and they can do it for any brand. You don't have to get it from them. Any brand of garage door, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will take care of that for you. Same-day service, too. 314-781-5200. 314-781-5200. And don't be fooled by the imposters out there. There's only one Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the one with the red ribbon. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
Get ready for a night packed with legendary hits and non-stop energy. Brian Adams is bringing the Roll with a Hunter Tour to Enterprise Center Friday, July 24th.
Hello, this is Brian Adams.
Sing along to the classics as Brian Adams delivers an unforgettable night of rock anthems. Plus, special guests Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo. Brian Adams, July 24th. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Kentucky School District gets a $27 million settlement from multiple social media companies over claims that they fueled a student mental health crisis. Let's find out more about the case and the ramifications. With me now, KMOX media expert Julie Smith. Good morning, Julie.
Hi, Megan.
Starting off, which social media platforms were part of this lawsuit and settlement?
Meta, which of course is Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Snapchat, TikTok, and YouTube were the big ones.
The settlements didn't really require the companies to admit any liability in this or to make any changes to their platform. They're just
throwing money,
paying out money to this district.
And normally, that would make me kind of roll my eyes. But what the district in Kentucky is saying is that they need this money to fund additional mental health programs for the students and cover expenses on all the extra counseling stuff that they claim these platforms have caused in the district. And I can see that there's probably some merit to that. But like you said, this is a Band-Aid on a problem that needs major surgery.
And it's my understanding that this is just one lawsuit in more than
5,700
claims against these companies.
There's currently 5,700 lawsuits pending in state and federal courts towards these primary social media platforms for the same reason, alleging harm to minors, saying that the platforms were built to be addicting. And also, I thought this was interesting. Some of the cases are actually antitrust cases against Meta, because what Facebook did essentially when Instagram started getting big was just buy Instagram, and then they bought WhatsApp. So it's not just about the mental health. There's also some antitrust, which I think is kind of interesting.
This amount of money, I mean, that's not insignificant, $27 million. And if they are facing a number of other very similar lawsuits, you would think that that would deter some of the behavior that they're being sued for. In this case with these tech giants, do you anticipate that it will force any changes?
No. But I'm cynical when it comes to these platforms, so I'm not sure that my answer is all that appropriate or accurate. There's so much money involved that the platforms would probably rather just throw money at these lawsuits just to get them out of the way. What I really struggle with, Megan, is that, this case said that the platforms were causing harm to minors. Well, if we're going to start suing companies that cause harm to minors, that's a serious list, and because we're not defining what we mean by harm. Like in New Mexico, there was a case where they sued the platforms because they were showing minors inappropriate content. Well, that makes sense because it's specific, but just saying causing harm to minors is so vague. I'd be really curious to see if other cases end up getting more specific, because just saying it alleges harm opens the door to a lot of lawsuits.
That is KMOX media expert Julie Smith. Now, while social media has its problems, Facebook is bringing nothing but the best to neighbors in Afton, Crestwood, Shrewsbury, and Webster Groves.
If somebody needs a hand, I may not have a lot. Somebody else has less than I do.
Meet Linda, providing food that she cooks for people in her Facebook community in need, and the need is great.
I said to my husband, I don't know what we can do, but we have got to do something. We're sitting here and we're not rich, but we're comfortable. Mm-hmm. There are people that cannot claim to have even as much as we have. He says, tell me where we're going, and I follow.
That slicing and dicing you hear in the background is Linda, also known as Nona, preparing a delectable dessert of apples and croissants. Lunch was chicken salad and heirloom tomatoes.
And I started cooking. And I said, I can't help everybody. There's no possible way. And to give to a food bank, yeah, I can do that, but it's not as personal. And some of the people that you need to reach the most are those who are least able to get to you and to get to the food banks and to get to all of the places that have services.
People reach out to Linda via the Facebook community. Now, you might be asking, what about safety? Linda either delivers the food to those who cannot get to her, or for those who want to pick up the food, Linda leaves it outside on her porch. She cannot emphasize enough about the importance of community, togetherness, giving, sharing, and showing her love one meal at a time. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Thank you, Maria. Speaking of food, have you ever had a St. Paul sandwich? Well, It's actually unique to St. Louis, not St. Paul, Minnesota. A local filmmaker profiles this eggy treat, and we'll have more for you. Listen tomorrow during the 8 o'clock hour of Total Information AM.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Lynch. Living your water increases